Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everybody to our July 24th Commissioners Court meeting. Let the record reflect we have a quorum. All the commissioners are here. I want to call the meeting to order and ask that you please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance followed by a word of prayer from Mr. Kelly. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your many blessings. We ask, God, that all things be done in a way that brings honor and glory to your name. We pray, God, that in the midst of all of the things happening in our nation, God, that first and foremost, Father, that we look to you for strength and for guidance. Father, we thank you for all your many blessings. Be with the constituents of our county that are enduring and having to face flooding once again. Give us wisdom in all areas. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Item number 4, public comments. No public comments. Item number 5, announcements, possible discussion of items of public or community interest for which no action will be taken.
One thing I got since you last night, along my friends working the desktop, John down. I hadn't heard of it. Yeah,
what happened?
They're having
Just John McDowell from Indy working Dick Carter yesterday.
yeah, you know him. Yeah, he worked right across the hall.
Yeah.
He passed away Tuesday. Mistake tonight, you know. Pretty good man.
I remember way back when he gathered us up some grant money and put the Kenwood radios.
One of our first piece of
Yeah, way back when everybody, they put them out in all the sheriff's cars, all the constable cars, the JP's cars, the judge. They put one in mine, they put one in the, I don't know all that. I have some fire bills, that was pretty broken. We just bought that Forest Service car. I think that's where they set up, everybody's made an appointment, they had them installed out there. I don't remember what I did. Yeah, he was mover and a shaker. So
That's what
where's the people going to be?
That's right. They're going to be fun. They won't be at on that. That's how many breaks will be another one. So that's the next one. Who's that?
All right. As everybody knows, it's still raining. It's the wettest year I've seen in my 65 years of breathing air around here. Be careful when you get on the road. Roads are underwater that you wouldn't even think about even.
Your Honor, can I interject? Christmas in July is this weekend, and Santa will be there. So it's a big event for Cold Spring, I guess, depending upon the rain conditions. But
All right. I hope the rain lets off a little bit so it's a stressful event. All right. Nothing else. We can always come back and go. Anything else to be shared? I felt Consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve the application to revise subdivision plat for Kenneth N. Huffman and Teresa B. Huffman.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Commissioner. Councilman. Good to see y'all.
Looked over the application, it looks like the tax receipt or taxes have been paid. Did you run the ad effective?
Yes, Your Honor. There's a certificate of publication with the application.
Y'all got that?
Right,
That's right, on the proposed plat,
it's with the order.
you gonna share that order with us?
I thought I would. Like I'm on my fourth to test screen. The Huffmans have a house that's built on a lot. When the house was built, it was built over the line on another lot that they own. So what they are seeking to do is to move the lot line over to where their lot and house is all on the right lot.
They're gonna do away with the center lot line, basically. It'll be like it's all one lot to start with. I assume that's where,
Well, it moves over a little bit.
guess I need to see what you're talking about. Do they own the other lot? Do they own the other lots?
Yes, they own the lot, they own both lots.
Please tell me we're not leaving a little sliver of lot number 2 over there. Yes.
I'll let it go.
Why would you do that?
Well,
Most of the time, we've done hundreds of these.
yes, sir.
You do the replat, they just take out the center line, it's one big lot, like lot 14A or something. Sure. You got
We've got two houses on two lots, and one house is over on the lot line in the second house. So whenever the net result is after you approve the application, is going to be that you're going to have two different lots, both of which will have a house on them, and both of which will be independent of each other and can be sold.
I think I spoke to, I speak to so many different ones that just like this. I don't know if I actually spoke to these people here, but.
Yes, it's just a little sliver.
So, I mean, there is a different way to do it. We've done it before in the past, by just agreeing that the division can happen between neighbors. But it still has to be served. I haven't seen it yet.
It's been surveyed, so. Look through there and see if you see the newspaper thing, but I didn't see a newspaper, but I didn't look through the whole thing.
You have it in your check?
Nope.
That was a publication. It's here. It's here, Rick.
It is, but we have to know about it, we have to bring us something to put on the website. If we don't get it, well, here. We got the publication. Tax certificates are all we got. You don't usually get the publication through until, it takes time for that and that, and all the application's pending until everything's done.
We ran July 4th, July 11th, July 18th.
July 4th, July the 11th, July the 18th, it's supposed to run 3 times. And then paper, taxes are paid. What they do, end up having to buy the neighbor's house or something?
They originally built the house next door
Oh, okay.
as a ancillary house for the kids. And
And they built their house that's over the line?
yes,
Well, if they own both sides, it really didn't matter, right? This kind of cleaning up. If you own both sides, I guess you can do whatever you want to.
not without permission from you all.
All this is doing is straighten it up so that they can be so individual now.
Yeah, or give the one to one kid, one to, or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's just, it's small, but
It's small, but they have public sewer, public water, so quarter acre lot goes up. And it's on, yeah.
I get a
So
vote.
I'll make the motion to approve it. Oh, now second motion.
I didn't hear it, but, you make a motion. I have a motion by Commissioner McAnally, second by Commissioner
I'm gonna put it back together.
Jacinto. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Is anybody from RL here that has an objection?
It's okay. So in the future, I don't know what your next one has. We usually have signatures on the plat also.
Okay,
They're not on the plat, but
okay, a spot for
Surveyors ought to know that.
they should.
Is there an order or something that? I mean, that's what we're used to, but if we all sign the order and the plat is attached,
Yeah, I'll just do it for reference, the next one.
yeah.
This next one was done by Joe Fuller, and he does have that. Right.
Well, correct the date, today's the 24th.
Yes, Your Honor.
And by the way, I did come to the office of that,
Okay,
that told you, you said it everything.
they did. Did you get what you needed?
No, you were asking me a question.
Your language here says that we adopted a proper resolution. Did you provide a proper resolution? Because we just signed this order.
I'll prepare you a resolution.
I don't care if you do or not, I'm just saying,
I don't have one right now.
if you didn't have that in there, I mean, when we signed the order, that seems to serve, it serves the same purpose as a resolution.
But the court could certainly make an intermediation. Say, that's a proper motion.
I drew one up yesterday or something.
The next one, I'm looking at it.
How about this? I'm gonna put up in the title, order and resolution,
That works good.
unless you had one way in there.
No, that looks good.
That way, somebody closing at the title company and they said, there wasn't a resolution. Yeah, there was. The newspaper's publication affidavits for notarized in Bear County. They down, the newspaper done got gobbled up by some big conglomerate. Headquarters. They realized it. I remember when Mr. Price, 50 years ago, on the news, office drivers, all right, item number 11, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve application to revise subdivision plat for Jerry Adamic and Roxanne Adamic.
We're here, Your Honor, on that.
We got the file on it. Yeah. We didn't know which publication. Look it up. City County. Very top, I believe. Yeah, very top part.
Oh, yeah, state of Texas County of Bear, well, that's where they
That's
signed the note. Well, they obviously have been gobbled up by a big company, and they are headquartered in San Antonio now. So that's where the person that swore that it was published had it notarized.
Yeah, none of that.
Well, it says that she's the agent of Column Software PPC,
Yeah,
which is the agent for Sanderson and New Times.
this was saying,
It says they're published in Shepherd, Texas. Is that, do they still have an office down there in Shepherd? This one says 2030. This one's up Waterwood. Has anybody from Waterwood got an objection to combining these two lots?
I do want to ask the question and remind Mr. Hayden, even though they might want to remind him.
That's Ms. Cook speaking. isn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
For the
I'm
record.
a real estate broker in Rockville. When they combine the lot, the two lots and becomes one, they still have, it's not one homeowner association fee. They're still going to have a full charge for the first one and 75% of full charge.
They changed the rules way back in the day. That's why a lot of people would do these, and then once they got theirs changed, then they got on the board and changed the rules. They didn't do that just there. I think the Cape does the same thing.
It's been like this.
I did a lot of them for people in the Cape, and then the board decided who'd already changed theirs to change the rules. Okay.
But I see them all the time, so I can remind them.
Good deal. Thank you.
The one in particular, we lots into one lot, but you got to be head of the board to
I
change.
think they know what they're doing.
What's good for the goose ain't always good for the gander. Newspaper ads here, tax, I went on one of these lots, taxes were only $32.98. I don't have anything today.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Jacinto, second by Commissioner Mars. Any questions or concerns? No? Did you have a question or not?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Sure. Okay, I see it's black. It's got signature lines too. It's approved, unanimous, 5-0. It's been a while since y'all closed it up, so you got 23 here. We'll fix that.
I always try to hire Joe, and
He does good work.
yeah, he does great work. He always tells me he's retired. And then I see his stamp on work, and I'm like, okay, you're retired from me. Of course, my stuff is usually complicated.
Here, and then it's flat. There's a little flat on the back of the place for you guys. Well, it works better if, because if we had it ahead of time, they'll have time to look over it. Not that they ain't capable of fast thought on the go, on their feet, but that's not how we like to take it.
I'll submit an order to you.
I don't know.
I get it, I just send everything out so they got a chance to peruse it.
7 days good?
Sure. It goes out usually, sometimes I send it early, but usually when we send it back it out. 5-0. This other one, 5-0. Other business I see, we have received the new air conditioners. This stuff in here. Could have called a meeting in the district courtroom, the air conditioner, we need a jacket in there. It's cool in there. I gotta throw down a jacket and wear it just because. Anything else?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Excuse?
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being in front of y'all.
Yes, sir.
Y'all take care.
All right, item number. Anybody else is awesome to get out here? Ain't a couple more items. Item number 10, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve necessary actions for repairs to Simpson County Jail facility and/or housing of inmates at remote locations. Put that on there, and we ran an ad. No, we didn't. What we run an ad on?
For jail repairs.
We did run one. We did
And
run one.
it's to run this week.
Yeah.
It
Come
has
out tomorrow.
See, that's true.
Well, no, today. Today, it comes out today. If you run the ad in the paper, you're complying $6,000 every day to house inmates somewhere else. That's an emergency as far as our budget is concerned. It's an emergency in many respects. We've had adjusters and the tax, our insurance adjusters been up there. Several members of the court, I was up there one day. After that, they brought back an engineer. And I think several different contractors have made aware of it, so various contractors have been up there and looked at that.
We just got our insurance report in.
So I guess that was just presented this morning. This right here.
Yes, sir. It came in this morning. It's a preliminary report.
Ollie Martin with Clarence. So that's an insurance, that's an adjuster.
That's our adjustment.
The conclusions, I don't think surprise anyone.
No. But lift it up. I don't know if Mike got reported the deal back. I was up there with the deal back. It did raise. One of my staff, my people came to work the day of the hurricane because we had fire. And they were standing outside. They kept hearing this flopping noise, and I said, that was the roof over there on this end, the south end.
Mr. Mark, did you get a copy of that?
I just read it.
Okay. Did this surprise you?
Not at all.
Me neither.
First part of the building was built in 1983. You can tell that from looking at the platform. There was conditions there. The others, the downspouts were not displaced. Trees were not down. Areas of CNU on the east and west side were washed for several hours after the rain. Walls near the gym and booking had efflorescence, algae on them. You're not supposed to be climbing up there and spraying Clorox on that algae. Algae keeps the birds on the north side. The dark panel metal roof flashing above the storage area near the southeast corner was displaced. Approximately 5 panels in the area had been pulled. They pulled out fasteners and bright, unaged abrasions. That means that they weren't damaged way a long time ago when we were just patching it. This was fresh abrasions. CME wall in the storage area exhibited, when I went through there, they couldn't find the key to that room, so I didn't see that. Localized cracking in the mortar joints around the roof levels. Furrows were not racked, twisted, or deformed. Active water infiltration observed on the interior of the building in the storage, booking, dispatch, and gym areas. Areas of possible organic growth were limited in booking, dispatch, and northeast corner of the gym. Back around the gym where that wall kind of sticks up about 4 foot. I don't know why you put it. There's a cap. You could put a flashing under there and come down to it. It's one way to do that.
It's just, it's not on the other end.
Water was entering the attic space through fastener holes and roof vents. That's what we said. far as I'm aware, we blow it through all that gap, those gaps when I'm building. Because I think that's part of ventilation design. That hot air rises up through there, that's how it gets out. I talked to Hefner, the guy who designed it, that's what he said. Previous roof repairs, e.g. caulking, sealant, tape were found throughout the roof area. I said throughout. Quite sure on both ends around the basketball court. Many previous repairs were aged, deteriorated, and cracked. Did they ever get rid of that pallet that had all the cinder blocks on top of it, the satellite dish? No, it's still there. How that didn't blow away, I'll never understand. I don't think that's something we use currently either. We probably got to figure out a better way to mount a satellite dish and have 12 cinder blocks on a pallet. It's okay. Weather review information. Simulation estimated maximum sustained winds of 33 miles an hour and gusts of 59 miles an hour. The wind that I saw probably going a little harder than that, but unless somebody was out there with one of the devices that carries it, it's just somebody just didn't get it. That's what you actually have to know.
33 miles per hour. What a joke.
Quality of this weather information varies and is not to be construed as site specific. They gave us a couple of little drawings in the report that represent the wind pattern, approximate wind pattern. Weather information is used in conjunction with other sources of information to make determinations relevant to the purpose of the evaluation. Conclusions. Based on our review, background information provided by individuals on the site, Brother Ward, did he provide any information? He probably knows that proof is structured better than
He was there, I believe King, and maybe, was it Kevin Bradshaw, or you one with the insurance company?
Yes.
So, we were there too.
that Friday, last Friday?
It was
Third.
Last Thursday.
Had to go to something, I don't remember what it was. Okay, based on our review of weather information provided, extent of wind-related distress to the roof is approximately 5 R-pounds, limited to approximately 5 R-pounds on the southeast corner of the building above the storage area and the adjacent gate flashing on the south side of the building. Additionally, based on observations, the displacement of the roof in the storage room also caused minor movement of the roof burden, resulting in mortar cracks. Mortar cracks can be repaired. The displaced area of the roof has resulted in water infiltration in the storage area. The reported observed water infiltration through the remainder is attributed to wind-driven rain and to deficiencies and openings in the building. Deteriorated previous repairs, tears in metal roofings and kinks, missing and backed out fasteners. In other words, screws have that building was built, the last part of it, during Hurricane Rita, when we called, we sent a request for help. They sent a bunch of DPS troopers and we housed them in the new jail. It never done. We had to put inmates in the new jail at that point. That was Hurricane Rita. Backed out screws or fasteners, they call them, deteriorated or fastener washers. That means you don't have to replace all the screws with new washers. Based on background information provided, visual observation indicated building has a history of water infiltration. Based on the age, corroded appearance of fasteners that displaced gable flexes near the northeast corner of the gym. That's where they've dived it. Man, it's quite often you can see it there. Try to deal with it, maintain it. That's maybe not the best design in the world to put flashing up against brick. You put that stuff, that goop on there, and the weather, it expands and contracts. Based on, near the northeast corner, we do not attribute displaced flashing to the recent storm. Possible organic growth can be cleaned to allow for habitation of the building. There's no trees. Well, there's trees on one side. I don't know how regular they clean the gutters, but they probably ought to put that on schedule too. Southeast corner where the metal roof is displayed. Southeast corner, I should say. Southeast would be over there, closest to the bank, right? Yes, that's exactly true. Yeah. That's the area where that part of the basketball court is. It juts up through the metal roof, and the metal roof runs right up against the side of it. It's just not a great design. Homeowner might have something similar when you got a big fireplace and the roof runs up to it. That's always a source of problem.
So Judge, when we get to talking about the roofing, man, when we get through the insurance, one of the gentlemen that we walked around with that Thursday is here. And I put before you a blue folder, and I put before you Mr. McAllen and Mr. Brandon another blue folder. And this is not a monetary proposal, it is just more or less a scope of work. What he thinks needs to be done to repair the roof. And I just got it this morning at 8 o'clock. We just met.
Where is he at?
He's right here in research. His name is Mr. Harris.
What's your name?
Wayne Harris.
All right. Tell us about it. We'll be more than happy to hear your expert opinion on what.
And before he speaks, I talked to another contractor that said he's not interested in repairing it. His exact words were, the damn thing needs to be replaced.
And I'll second that.
And that's as far as I gotta go.
I wouldn't work on it and give you a guarantee for 1 hour.
I'm surprised with it, contractors think that we ought to put a whole new roof on it, but, may not. Well, I agree with, there's a proposal, not a proposal, scope of work. As I told Mr. Harris 2 or 3 times, I do not want a bid, do not give me a bid. I want to know what it would take, in his opinion, each professional to fix the building. And this is what he's doing today. And there's a list in front here of what he thinks needs to be done. Now, we need to decide what we're going to do because he doesn't know how to bid, nor does the other contractors know even what to bid on until we give him a scope of work.
This booklet I put together, the first 2 pages just tells you what you got on site. Just explains what's up there, the dimensions, how many penetrations and so forth. The next page is what I would suggest doing, which is a total roof replacement.
Let me just tell you, I was here during not the whole process. The first part was built in '82. County judge at that time, well, we were in the counter room. We were overcrowded over there.
Yes, sir.
He left mid-term. I came in. The jail commission was breathing down our necks, so we employed somebody to design us something to go from 20 beds. Well, it used to be just 10 in Huntington jail. It was only a 10-man jail, and they started filling it up and put in bunk beds and doubled the capacity. Great. Why they didn't have bunk beds to start with. But then we went from 20 to 54, and we thought that would, man, that'll hold us. But it wasn't. Just a few years, and you know, we were at 70, 75. And you may have them when everybody thinks, well, the jail commission ain't here, but you write down everything you do. You got to count for every day. And they do show up and see that, I see back here on March 3rd, you had 70 inmates. So then we were compelled to add on a little more. And then the court decided, well, if we're going to do this, we might as well, we decided to go up to 144 man and rent out all the extra, and that's been a good plan. It helped pay for that kind of thing. A lot of the designers, we didn't design the darn thing. They just had to deal with what they had. You got R panel and standing seam, and more R panel. It looks like the biggest part of the problem is the front part, the north part, the oldest part of that arch.
That and the cricket by the rec room.
Yeah, well, that was part of, I think that was part of the last.
It's part of the expansion y'all did in 07 according to the drawings.
Yes, yeah.
Mark thinks it was taken off once and redone. Pictures.
I know that there was a problem with the roof. It leaked right off the bat. They took all the tin off and put more tin. They did a little better job, but it's still.
From what I can tell by walking on it, the feel of it, they put a bigger pan underneath it, which is what Mark thinks they did when they redid it. But they didn't put enough structure underneath it. So up that valley where that cricket's at, every time somebody steps on it, you're breaking the seals. That should be a solid base angle iron mounted underneath that pan, 4 locations in each pan. So walking on it, and y'all got maintenance people going up there to clean, they're walking on it.
They usually don't go up there unless there's a leak that comes out and they go up there to fix it.
Well, somebody doing up there.
DP up there, he weighs soaking wet about 140 pounds. And big guys probably ought to stay off, like me and you ought to stay off it.
If you know how to walk on it, it's not a problem.
Yes.
Everybody thinks you walk on the highs, you don't want to stay off the highs.
I've been up there because I needed to, but you gotta worry about me. I put my 240 on.
Well, there's probably, I'm guessing, between 100 and 150 craters in that roof. The people that walked on the wrong part of the sheet.
Sure.
And then they've taken tape and put on top of those cracks, which we've done, everybody's done it in the industry. But it's a short time fix. You might be 6 months to a year.
When you first stepped up on the ladder, did you look at the swag and all the way down, about 30 foot up?
So Judge, let me bring up something else.
Yes, sir.
We got 2 air conditioners up there that we need to address and get moved before we do, along with doing the roof. Because we got 2 patches up there.
If you would let him finish his proposal or talk about his proposal, he's got a $5,000 fix to each one estimated cost. He said that's what the contractor is charging to make it. Or we can pull them off, put them back on instead of putting the 10 each time. Because if we do put standing seam metal on there, you can't take it out and go back.
Well, just so everybody in the crowd will know,
See,
the first building that was built there in '82 had a concrete roof on it. And I think those air conditioners, some of the oldest ones that were set on top, I think I'm not a contractor, but putting air conditioners on top of buildings just don't sound smart to me.
I'm not a mechanical contractor.
But that's what they did, and then when they added on, I don't know why they couldn't have designed it to where they could set that over there. You could run that proper tubing over there and set them on the ground, but I don't know. I wasn't part of the design team.
Well, that's a package, those are package units, they're not split.
Right.
So they have to be over an intake to get into the building. Otherwise, you have to run duct all the way from the side of the building over. It's not like a residential unit that's split.
Yeah. Okay, well,
They can be moved up to the upper roof. They could be moved up to the upper roof, above the roof, and mounted. But you got to reinforce all the structure, and it's not designed. That roof is not designed to hold the load. The concrete roof below is.
I understand that.
So your design is to build a door hatch or something?
It's a roof hatch. It's a roof curve, aluminum roof curve, approximately 8 foot by 8 foot with a removable lid. When you get the crane out here to remove the unit, you take the lid off. It's got 4 lifting lugs. And it's an insulated curve. Very expensive. But y'all are spending more than that on repairs and.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. And you can't, like Mark said, if you put a standing seam on there, which is what you need to do, you can't remove it. It's seamed.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's been probably since it was built, since I climbed up there. I remember we had sand and seam at one point. And I called that architect after it was over just the other day. I said, what were we thinking of? You designed this, what were you thinking when you put ornamental after standing seam? My guess is it was so it come in under budget.
Yeah,
It's all a money thing.
It's over probably 60 to 70% cheaper to
It
go.
was 33,000 foot or something like that.
15,000. Did I have it in my? I think it's 15,000 for that phase.
33, yeah, but I mean, the total is 33.
That's for the whole building though.
Yes, that's the whole deal.
Well, you said it a while ago, why don't we let him finish his talk?
I think I'm easier to answer questions really. When I looked at the drawings that Mark showed me, the building was not installed according to those drawings. And at the eaves, which we're not seeing a lot of water infiltration at the eaves, but it's not designed right at all. It's not even close. And all the mildew you see on the walls and all the calcium coming through the brick is from water getting in that block. And that water's coming. These gutters are not designed to hold all the water. In a massive rain, they will overflow to the backside between the gutter and the wall.
If they're not clean regularly.
It doesn't matter if it was clean or not. In a massive rain, a hurricane rain like we've been getting, these rains, that gutter will not handle it.
Well, about page 4, it shows that in the book here, You need one to talk about?
No,
It shows you what the problem is by dying there.
there's no flashing behind, there should be a flashing underneath the roof sheet, coming down over the block and sealing that block. That gutter, on the front side of that gutter, all gutters for metal buildings are brought to the top of the rib of the panel so that you don't see the panels. I don't like it, that's the way they do it. But when that water overflows, it comes over the back side, and it's designed to go to the back side, otherwise it'll just rip that gutter off the building. It won't handle the weight. And all
That's
the,
a safety feature for it to rip it off instead of running.
right. But if it runs over the back side, it will just come down the outside of the block. It won't get in the block.
I'm not a big fan of gutters anyway.
Well, in Houston, in Conroe, you have to turn them off. That's just part of their code. I don't know what y'all's code is here.
Our codes doesn't require gutters here in Santa Center County. It's maybe a bit of a thing, but that would be something you could do if you put pea gravel all around, whatever the fire is. I don't know. Gutters are a source of.
They can't put leaf guards on these gutters because the front edge is higher. So all you're gonna do is block all the leaf, they won't wash off the roof like you're supposed to.
Yes, sir. So I went over there this morning after we had 4 or 5 inches of rain. I just come back last night. I went over there this morning to look. Bradshaw and I walked in there, and it is not leaking where it was leaking prior because we tweaked. Well, there wasn't no 70-mile-an-hour wind. It was a 70-mile-an-hour wind when it was leaking Thursday. It just happened to rain Thursday when everybody was walking around looking. We couldn't even get on the roof at first because of the rain. Did you even get on the roof?
Not that day, I come back Friday by myself.
So that was leaking in before. It wasn't 70-mile-an-hour wind. So we tweaked some stuff up there. We moved some flashing around. It's not leaking like it was. So that's where the majority of the water was coming, under that edge. In my opinion, I'm not a roofer, but I was up there. I crawled around on it. I went inside. I looked.
The ridge that you were talking about that somebody told you to use it for ventilation, that's not true. That we only do that on 4 and 12 or higher pitches. And we run the sheets 12 to 14.
All the ventilation comes out.
I think
it is 8. It is 6.
I put in there 10 of those. If you need more, that point you got time to get it. And I do 8 by 2.5, 14 days.
Yes.
Red oxide too, they don't need to be galvanized.
So, did we know if any, Mark, did we know if any of the communication antennas and all that on the roof, any of them working?
I don't know. That would be something to talk to King and Sheriff. CP doesn't seem to think they're been working.
Chief Inspector Bowline.
Do you know if any of the antennas on the roof or satellites are any good?
No, not there.
So we don't have to go back with any of that stuff?
No, sir.
Okay.
So it says in here, on 7 and 8, you see on the,
Yeah.
that will be us.
Yeah, that's the red, the one that's got outlined in red.
Is it gonna,
So that's.
They're not hooked up, we can take them down to any other contractor, it's just a responsibility.
we take away the satellite dish, the inmates ain't gonna have ESPN and Showtime.
Well, they're not gonna be here for a while.
Well, they're actually, I don't know, really, I'm kind of joking, but they're supposed to have, I guess, some sort of, it makes them behave a little better probably if they got a little, right? I mean, that's probably why that's in there. I get that. Last time I go, I was in jail. I anything you can do, they're already bad in the world, so anything you can do to help with that.
a real thing, right? I don't think that's where we're getting the signal from none of them dishes or stuff that's up there.
So we can do away with that.
If they're not, they'll be put up on any contractor to take them off for it. It's just the responsibility of the architect.
So, when all the metal is removed, that's county property.
However you want to handle it. We normally haul it off the scrapyard, but I'm sure y'all take rid of it.
We'll take care of it.
So he's got in the proposal, the qualifications are all dumpsters are included. That means we can strike that out and the kid's gonna get the dumpsters out here, whether it be insulation, antennas.
I don't know about the dumpster, but I'm just talking about sheet metal.
Yeah.
Whatever the court wants to do on that.
Do you know exactly what it says about the disposal of that in here?
No, it just talks about where the contractors supply the dumpster. That's a big item though. You take, if we're hauling it off, if the contractor's hauling it off in a dumpster, probably talking about 12, 15 dumpsters. If you're talking about just the trash from the job site.
Yeah, I know,
Trash from the job site, probably 2 dumpsters.
Yeah.
So that's a
The
big item.
contractor is gonna charge us to deal with all that scrap. I think what they're saying is they just think, they probably can see, their eyes are lighting up to all the new barns and sheds and stuff.
That's fine, there's not enough money in it. When you sell it at the scrapyard, there's not that much. So if you got a use for it,
we just need to put in all, we'll retain all.
Oh, yeah, and put it over in their base. They'll buy it, you know? I mean,
And that's really, and the county will provide dumpsters, is that what we're saying? The dumpster man's not sitting there, where's he at?
He said he had to come home.
How long are them sheets you tell? You probably-
some of them are 30 feet, some of them, I think there's some of them that are 35. It's 59 foot from the eave to the
I
ridge.
suspect if they're getting to keep 10, that they're gonna be real careful about how it comes off, but if it's not, it's not gonna be, it won't be fit to put on bars.
It's not gonna come up easy anyway. If it's sealed at the laps like it's supposed to be, we usually bend them pretty good at the edge.
That rubber stuff, oh yeah, I got some used 10, and you just stack it, and then you try to, oh, you gotta throw up all this.
Yeah, heat of the summer is a lot better, but my proposal or my scope that I wrote also says that the panels will be one length from the eave to the ridge, which is 59 feet. Excuse me. There'll be no laps, no seams in the intermediate parts of the panel. And that eliminates a lot of your leak problems.
Well, that's kind of hard to have up.
Did you just say we're gonna use metal that's 59 foot long?
Yes, sir.
It's kind of hard to put a seam on stainless seam in.
Now, there's seams all over it.
Well, I know, but I mean, as far as the lap seam.
Yeah, it's just, you got movement in that last, the seams in there moving, screws. These roofs seem to move constantly, day and night, every day.
Yeah, cold.
So it's like taking a putty in your hand, plumber's putty, and rolling it. That's what the 2 pieces of metal are doing, and it's shoving that sealant out of it. So we eliminate that seam, you eliminate leak problems. But the trucking's the only thing. I can get sheets up to 80 feet. So I got an 80-foot truck. I can get them 80 foot. I can actually get them as long as you want them. I just have to hire the machine to come out to the site and roll them.
So this scope of work is not retrofit regular with the new roof. It's fixing what's there with flashings.
Do what? Oh, yeah, the cricket area? Yeah, that's just fixing it. Now, I will take it up and redo the pan and put structure underneath it. It's the only way I can guarantee it.
And that's in this one?
That's in my scope,
Yes,
yes.
scope of work. But we really don't know.
I got question, if you don't mind. Mr. FEMA, man? Brian, yeah, Brian. Coincidentally, you're here, and we're talking about, repairing the jail, replacing the jail. And the insurance company, I think, kind of just wants to, they want their land towards just be attaching or fixing it like the way it was before. Or I believe is of the mind that possibly it's 3 different pieces of roof, and we're trying to, we're leaning towards putting a new roof, fixing it right, so to speak. And we got grandiose hopes of somehow getting some help from FEMA for what the insurance company. I doubt FEMA's going to pay anything over what the insurance covers.
Well, it's kind of out of my lane. I mean, that question would be better posed to Jason White and a 406 mitigation specialist. It sounds like you're trying to
mitigation. There we go. We're trying to mitigate this problem.
Yes, it sounds like you're trying to mitigate some problems with the building that could cause further damage, which that's where that specialist would come in. And a minute ago, you asked me, did I get requisite permission to come and speak? I did. And I had hoped we could get a 406 specialist here today, and now I'm sure wishing we had, but I wasn't able to get a 406 specialist here this morning. I'm from mitigation division, but that's my specialty is in the flooding part, not the roof part.
I don't know how much they look at how we develop our scope. I imagine if we develop a general scope, at some point we're going to have to put an engineer to.
Well, to try to address that part, there's a facility called the CRC, which reviews all of your projects, and they look at the scope of work for the project as its own process and having its own meaning and value. And that's looked at separately from the insurance. The insurance does not drive the total cost of the project or the eligibility of the project. What the insurance does is it's a deductible. If you recover from the insurance, it's a deductible from what would otherwise be payable. And FEMA does expect you to carry insurance when it's available if you have a known risk that is insured. So
we have it, but they got clauses when it's a named storm, they pay way less, they pay 10%.
You probably have Texas Association of Insurance. Now, I hold an insurance license, property casualty. I have it for a long time. I actually have an insurance insurance. To that point, if you may want to talk to your adjuster about, what you're discussing about the nails and or fasteners, replacing it with that.
No, they're not going to. If their man said, well, it needs a whole new roof, that's not what they determined. There are some that think that we could get by with.
But that's what I'm saying. You have a subject matter, more than one, it's my understanding. Expert looked at it and said, it needs to be. I want to talk to your adjuster about that.
3 separate. Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. Because they're different heights. The first breaks down each things. Third portion is recap. I was just trying to put you down myself. There's some kind of cap when you on that. Flashing. They're not the same height. They're not one. Yeah, so there's going to be some translation. I don't know how to write it. I can rewrite it. I'm not asking you to do this. And I'll pull the angle out. No, I kind of wrote them there already. I can assume that in his. I want to take things on the roads. So you may engineer it past 3. Yeah.
How long? 3 or 4 years? Wait, how long?
Transition from the wall to the rest.
I think they do a section coverage, you can, some of the issues he's having that relates to that. And the DPS. That relates to the jail, shows you how much of a priority it is.
It's not really, I mean, real estate, lawsuits, personally.
Might be considered personnel, it could be. The problems he's having, the DPS and the sheriff's department with people that arrest at night, and they can't get hold of anybody, and you can't keep them in their cars.
I don't know. It's a sore subject. You can't just call everything executive session.
Just shut it down. Just stop. You gotta do something here.
So let's get back on this roof thing. Do y'all have any suggestions of anything else that needs to go in here? Any other way you want to go about trying to get people to bid on it?
Well, you're gonna have to have scope of work for anybody to bid this.
Exactly.
So that's my whole point. We can sit here and write forward to, turn it to different colors. Bottom line is we gotta have scope of work, and that's what people do. So my deal is gotta make them up to that is scope of work.
With a few changes.
With the changes, at some point, an engineer's got to put something on it. He's got an engineer on staff. Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. He does. I mean, I'm sure. You did say that. You did say that. I mean, we're all sitting up here assuming that we're going to give him the work. We'll come bid this out.
You still got to.
You have to bid it out. Yes. And I want to public. It's just helping us. And I very much
appreciate it. We thank you.
He's a taxpayer. He's got a house.
Yeah, I've got a house in the county too, so.
It's not like he doesn't want to help his own county. That's good. That's very, I appreciate that guy.
But as far as the engineer, he will probably do it directly for the county if y'all want to hire him. I can talk to him and see what he can charge. That way you can put it in the scope of whatever.
Maybe puts a seal on there for you or us, it's all the same seal.
I'm good. We have an engineer on staff. I don't know if he's one of those kind of engineers or not.
And he said it's a good.
What I see is good. So the two changes that Commissioner in your motion was to replace. I've got it scratched out in here. It said it should be furnished and installed. What furnishings where top flange is rusted out from water leaks? And put 10. Do you have a number? You know what number? Yes, sir. It's number 9. On the third
Number
page.
9, number 7 and 8, we're going to delete, that's county.
Yeah, it's going to delete 7 and 8. In
Well, I mean, it says owner will, so I mean, it's.
We're just validating. We're
Just
delete
delete.
7 and 8. That way nobody
In
gets.
other words, we're not going to remove the satellite dish or the, no, we are.
We are.
That's what it says, owner will.
Yeah.
So I just leave that in there.
Just throw that out.
So we put in there 10, 8 inch, 2.5 inch, 14 gauge, 25 foot, and I don't know, did you measure the length of them?
I'm guessing 25. There may be some 20s in there.
Yeah. I mean,
Bidding all right.
So that's 250 linear foot basically on site and used as needed.
Well, I mean, this is a general scope of work. We'll get up there and we end up with some calls for 300 foot or something, and actually need 350. That happens all the time, right?
No brainer.
You're taking out,
Take that,
Yeah.
I just kind of I'm really here to change it to furnace and install, purlings where top of flange is rusted out from water leaks with 10, 8, 2.5 inch, 14 gauge.
More clarity.
I'm not taking it out, I'm just changing it.
You're changing it to what?
Mark, you already put it in that they're welded so that the contractors that did it know that they're welded in.
Is it clear to you? Because that's not. Can you restate your motion?
Well, I would,
You're gonna make the motion, you're gonna change the motion.
Okay.
so I'll make the motion to use this scope of work to go out and bid for a new roof, power through jail. And then on item number 9, we're gonna delete that and change it to furnish and install purlings where top of flange are rusted out from water leaks. With 10, 8 inch, about 2.5 inch, about 14 gauge, 25 foot long purlin. And put 10 of them in the bid, scope of the bid.
10, say it again.
10 or 25, yeah. 8 inch Z's, they're Z's.
They're 8 inch by 25 foot.
8 inches each.
Z's.
10 or more.
10 or more.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, my whole bunch is taking out the numbers that are at the bottom. It said all dumpsters included in the scope of work. County will provide that. And then we want to,
So just take.
I just wrote right here, all dumpsters provided by county.
Provided by
County will recycle all metal.
It's down at the very bottom, Joe.
Okay, county will retain and recycle all metal.
That's a 30-foot trailer. What are you gonna put them in?
I know, you're gonna have.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Latuno, second by Commissioner Brandon. Go out for
I'll give you a copy.
to adopt scope of work provided by Mr. Harris and go out for bids.
I don't have one.
Or
I'm gonna provide a book for everybody.
Is he?
As long as he provides them changes in Fritz can,
He said he could get us some more books, or we could have our copy.
maybe do it from, maybe change.
He's doing this, I mean,
We got two.
he had my book. And Mark's got one here.
That's what I just said.
all this, I hadn't looked at it, just got here, all this stuff in the back is just guidance on how you
All
do
the stuff in
things.
the back is the actual,
What?
we're just like, something that's gonna make the,
Yeah, we'll just make a copy of it.
With the changes.
so these 3 pages are basically what he's,
All
his
this
scope of work.
That's what he's doing.
And he also told me, well, he would change that, then I to reflect, replace with permanent.
We also need a point of contact on this. Who's gonna be the point of contact for questions?
What's in your bid,
That was just DP, and all it was for jail repairs. It was
I make the
not.
motion, we make Mark and Tuno it.
Yeah, all in favor? Unanimous.
If I say Uncle G, you at least do that.
We got one ad in there, but we need to put another ad.
Do we need to, or do we just need to hand this out when somebody comes to bid?
But
the changes.
our ad
If you
is
change
only for jail repairs. That was a generic thing to
This
cover all
is
of
a,
it.
this is a repair. And we're gonna repair it by putting on a new roof.
Yes.
I don't care, just.
Try to get done because it's costing us $5,000.
That was the whole idea, that saves us like $84,000.
So in your opinion, if you gave the bid today, how long would it take you to get mail, as a contractor, to get mail on site to start the
2
job?
months, you said.
To start the job.
Our panel, I can get here in 10 to 12 working days, once I place the order. Standing seam may be as much as 3 or 4 weeks.
We already know. 3 months to do it.
This don't have any RPL in it, does it?
No, I'm just saying, I'm giving you a comparison.
So we're talking about another month.
I'd say at least, say 30 working days, you have material on site, that'd be
You're
safe.
taking 2 months to complete.
If the weather lets you.
If the weather permits.
So our panel's a much superior product, and I don't think we had any problems. Standing seam is, the only problem we had with it is where it joined up to something else.
And where it runs off the building in the gutter.
But,
But it's already stood.
so we're still looking at 4 months, 5 months down the road. Correct?
I think the weather is, I think you can do it 3 to 4, if the weather lets you. A month, get it on site, 2 months on site. If the weather don't, if it doesn't cooperate, it's all.
Oh, I know, I agree, yeah, absolutely.
The other thing y'all need to, I don't hear y'all really talk about is letting us put the standing seam on top. Letting us put the standing seam on top of the R panel, y'all need to clarify whether we're gonna do that or not.
No, we're gonna take it all down.
Take it all off.
Take it all off.
That way we can check.
That way we can look, see if there's anything that needs to be fixed. We wanna see if there's anything that old roof needs to be fixed right now.
Okay.
Any bracing or anything needs to be restructured.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anything, let's go.
We gotta take off that area anyway with the crickets or anybody does, to reinforce that valley.
That's what, yes.
So that's gotta come off anyway.
That's what we're saying, we want it all gone. We want
And if you got rust problem, that's where it's gonna be.
That's right. That's right. We know it's gonna be expensive, we all sit up here and know it. Some of us might hope it ain't, but we all call realization. Mr. Dillon. Mr. Dillon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we can
Is that his name?
No, it's Mr. Harris.
Harris, sorry.
Building construction is the name.
I just said, I just read the book.
So you was talking about putting new gutters on. So will these new gutters have the breakaway for the overflow?
We can cut them in, we've got overflow stuffers in there, they overflow. But they don't come that way, you know.
For the emergency breakaway, so they don't run back in the roof.
Yeah, what we do is that the gutter has a point on it, you look at that drawing. Right below that point, at the bottom of the top of the lower point, that's the line of the roof line. What we usually do there is, people want us to, we cut a 1 inch by 12 inch slot. And somebody can get us clean out the gutter, the water will go out that slot.
Sure.
And for the most part, in normal rain, it won't come out of the slot. It'll just be when it's overflowing.
So we need to make sure those are in there, because if not, when we get a torrential rain like we got, it's going in the building.
Not with the flashing,
Not with the flashing. Not with flashes you'll put on.
What about when that flash in the goop, the poopy dries up and gets brittle?
It's designed to overflow the backside, but we can do the slots too.
That's
I also had the gutter made to where it's the same height as the bottom part of the roof. And the water will go out the front side, which is what we used to do. This changed about 25 years ago. We started using architects, got involved, and they didn't want to see the highs on the new van. So they brought the front gutter up. Well, all that did was cause a problem. The old gutter that we had was at the same as the bottom of the water.
Architects get locked in on what looks pretty and not what's functional.
I think you need to drop it. If you're going to have the made, have the front, in my opinion.
That press road, I can have them made any design I want.
Drop it, and then it's got an automatic overflow wherever it needs it.
Right. And that's, architects got that though, they put that lip that high, just hide the edge of the panels.
That'd be easier to cut anything in.
And they look better.
How much gutter maintenance would we have if we just took gutters out of the whole picture?
You would never get it.
I understand that. I mean, I get it.
In 20 more years, I think it'll be office buildings anyway. I bet it will be.
We leave the gutters off, you're just gonna have that drip line like you have on the house.
Constantly be back then. That thing's gonna shed a lot of water.
On the west side, they didn't put enough downspouts on, that's part of the problem you're seeing on that wall. There should have been one more downspout on each side of that rec room. We figured 1 square inch of downspout for every 100 square feet of roof. And when they did the east side, they did it right. But when they did the west side, they didn't take it, they took out the area for the rec room. And that water's still dumping on the roof. You gotta get rid of it. So that's one reason you're having problems in those two areas. That's probably not a problem in a regular rain, but in a heavy rain, you got all that water coming from the crickets and the upper roof, all dumping. And the 2 downspouts, it should be a minimum of 3.
No more than the gutter is gonna cost, I'd rather see the gutter on there, but be dropping them in the front.
Right.
Where it's got automatic.
Nobody's gonna see that, pay attention to that house.
No, so one of the reasons why is because the standing seam roof is higher than our panel.
Yeah.
So the gutter is from one end of the building to the next, so the architect put that higher with gutter on there. Seal all that.
Yes.
We're gonna have one roof.
Right.
Over at least one section of it, it'll be the same. Now, it still drops down on the new section, it's still gonna be a transition.
I think there's an inch difference between the new section and the old part. So them 2 gutters really gonna, but it'll still function.
But you could actually put them together with 2 separate gutters and make this one go this way.
Well, I'll put 2 gutter ends on each end. They'll be
You know
separate.
you're the roofer, you know how to do that.
And then put a downspout at each end of it, so.
Well, the property's pretty well level, and it's not like, I was in Polk County the other day, and boy, you get to the back of that dude, and they got a long ramp that you walk down to change elevations. That's not what we got here.
No, we just got 2 different roof pitches.
So we're going to daily report from you?
I'm sure we can walk over there and talk to them.
No, I'm talking about it's you.
Mark, if you look at the drawings, the architectural drawings, they show that slab being an inch lower than the other slab.
Oh, really?
And why they did that?
I don't know.
I think that's why that gutter didn't line up.
You know what we gotta do when it's gonna get done.
Well, when it's a deadline for bidding?
There isn't a deadline, it's an open, it's open.
We took the deadline off.
He's got a bunch of.
I didn't want to just get dragged the project on, that's why.
So do we want to say we're gonna stop the bid process at a certain date and put them on next board?
We need to.
We do it.
Can you get,
Special meeting.
can you get your purchase on?
And if they don't bid on it, all I can do is ask.
That's been run, people ought to be.
I was gonna say,
They-
we put a list of roofers, we
If I-
will send it out to all of them and have them get it
Yeah,
submitted.
it's not like just counting on the newspaper, that's just a statutory requirement. I think everybody here is trying to put the word out as much as they can.
Well, I know, but who calls the people that done this over here?
Thank you.
Timberline? Who's calling them?
Oh, I don't know.
Timberline?
You know,
I didn't.
Somebody called because they were here that night.
yeah, they were good.
No, they got a contract, they didn't want to.
And then they had another guy from Russ, but that was only, us 3 were the only ones.
Dynamic structure.
Dynamics here, I didn't know the Timberline was here. down there.
Well, I don't know who that was, they were here.
But I'll drop the scope of work off so that you get the change, so that you ever get the changes made.
Johnny had to, we called, Timberline, because they did the innovation center, and the guys that did that, was from Johnny Clark.
So we send him a scope of work, do everybody a scope of work.
Well, he said today,
There you go, everybody.
so how are you gonna be trying to, you got
Trying to keep your mouth shut.
Because you send it out to me and say, okay, have them get in by the 12th. But I'm trying to do it.
we can set a time.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know that, how are they gonna know?
They were interested, they call up there and ask, or they could have been here. I don't know. I just know I don't want to drag it out.
I don't need that.
It'd be a good day. Set.
But there needs to be a bid date, I mean, you know, that's for the contractor,
Couple weeks,
you know.
We've got,
They
you
don't
know,
read our mind.
Today,
2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
Okay.
I wouldn't extend it no longer.
That's what I'm telling you, have it on for next court, we'll go bids, next court meeting.
Is that a motion to set a bid date?
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Marsh, second by McNally.
August 7th.
August 7th.
milk prices are going up and down every week, guys, so you gotta get it
Oh,
done.
God, yes. 1-8,
We actually had a drop though, we had 5% drop this week, so.
1-8 going up.
So I guess we need to read.
Finalize our bid information.
Right, but the thing about this is this week's already out, so we have to get the next week, the 7th, unless you want us to send that out with the letter with the packet.
Doesn't it say call so-and-so?
It says to contact VP.
Well, we take this vote.
Y'all done?
Yes, sir, thank you thank you so very much.
Thank you.
August
7th.
Yeah, we can, put the scope and the bid date information on the website.
You know what else we need to put in the middle of it, I'm gonna send one to all the contractors that you know. We need to put in there that they need to be ready to start a meeting. It won't be, if they
Yes.
see it.
6
It won't
months.
be three weeks down the road.
Yes.
Today we open the bids,
Yeah, that's sure, that's the problem. That's the problem.
time is of the essence.
Absolutely, I would, you know, because they may be a contractor come in here and be below bidder, but he can't start for 6 weeks. That's not what we want.
We're not obligated to pay it.
Yes, because I asked for electronic copy of it.
Well, I agree, but we need I would put it in a letter, and that way we have to go and hire a bid, you have that
We
letter.
got it to you, but you can
And
get it
back
to
up
us,
on,
we can get
and you
that
get all,
correction,
you
and then
get
send
all,
it out to all the
hey, you know, we took the higher bid because this guy couldn't start for 6 weeks, he started the next week.
Absolutely.
You know,
So my question would be, let's talk to the jail and chief over there.
Chief.
Get the people back in the jail.
Chief.
If it's not legal anymore, let's call jail commission, let's fix the roof, whatever's messed up, and get them back in. And what could we kick off?
Right. Is there a loss up on that mic?
Yes, there's a loss right there on the,
Mic, I just see flying, I'm gonna get stuck.
it's on the podium.
Yeah, I see.
You mean like the ASAP, or you talking about after we finish fixing? I'm talking about now.
There you go, that's still, I see him.
There he is, coming for you.
There was assassination over here, Mr. King. Don't file on us.
Did he listen here?
That's one of the new Chinese drones.
So what was your question now?
To the jail, or the jail commission, when can we get back in?
Well,
Contact the jail commission. They're not the only ones that can talk to the jail commission, but they.
it's gotta be recertified,
Okay.
so it's gotta pass the inspection.
That's exactly right. And we're not calling them, so we might have got around that, but it's what's done, it's done. It does have to be recertified.
Do we have a letter that says it's
Yes, you were copied on it.
I know
They,
that,
they did send something that,
I know some of the transfer switches still haven't been addressed. DP sent me some information on them, and I'm gonna try to find some, get somebody to see what it costs to install them. He said he's having a hard time with numbers again, but he gave me the numbers off of the serial numbers. I'm gonna get online, we figured we had, and try to help them find those. Get somebody, there's two of them, Kohler and Cummins. They're two different transfer switches.
Yeah, those have to be operational, the tickets gotta be fixed, and the water damage, and
Well, I'm
the
gonna
security
address that
system.
today, try to get those, some information.
But, yes, sir.
while we're on the subject of the jail and all the problems it's been, we had a couple of JPs come in and tell us what they wasn't gonna do to help with the problem. Judge Elliser approached the court via text or email, offered to do all magistrations for the next 30 days. You've been driving to Crockett, you've been driving up there to the College Station. For one, I'm very thankful that
Me too.
you cooperated.
I think they had.
Tell me though, he said, he just as soon be called at 3 o'clock in the morning and come up there and see him as have to get up in the middle of the day, the next day, and drive all the way to Brazos.
He hasn't had to drive anywhere
Can't
yet,
hear you.
and we got him into.
We can't hear you.
I told him, I said,
He comes right here to the jail.
Can you come up here where we can hear you?
yeah. I told him we probably can do soon. Are you telling me he didn't drive on Sunday, he didn't drive to, Brazos?
I don't know if he did or not.
I know that he did because I don't get the Astros. I was supposed to go to his house and watch it on Sunday. Hey, I can't help you, bro. I gotta go. Anyway, I appreciated that. You know, this is a disaster, and I appreciate everybody that steps up and pulls together and helps us get through this there.
I think they had an issue the other night, I believe. Can you kind of address
Yes,
that?
there's a company down in Galveston, me and the sheriff went down with it. They've got some connexes that they made into a temporary holding tank, basically, where you can hold somebody there up to 48 hours. We could rent one of those, because if you arrest somebody, we gotta have some place to put them, so we can in-process them and all that. Yeah. We don't have anything. I mean, if we get somebody violent or some bad thing goes down, murder, whatever, and we got 3 or 4 people that are bad, really bad news, we can't just haul them to Houston County or what. We've got to in-process them. We got to have a place to put them. Search them, do all the stuff, photograph them, fingerprint them, in-process, file all the stuff. And then they have to be magistrated. And if we have a temporary building there, I mean, it's just for a day or so. That's it. Then the next morning, we can pick them up and take them to whatever jail and hold them. But
It's amazing to me that the jail commission won't work with us enough to. It's bound to be an area somewhere in a 33,000 square foot building. One cell that could do that. I just don't understand that. Y'all ask him that?
This is the only solution they've offered us.
Brandon Wood, you talking?
Yes. I contacted the company, they sent me these, if y'all want to look at them. I mean, it's got like it's just a real rough estimate, stuff like that.
Is That's
So what they rent, what they rent a month?
Ooh,
42 grand a month, or 30 grand a month if you go over a month. And then the longer you do it, the cheaper it gets. But I mean, these things don't grow on trees either, so. I've been
Well,
looking.
yeah. I mean, 42,000, I say drive over to Polk County.
Well, they fill up too. I mean, it's every day's roll of dice. You don't know how many they're gonna put in jail. When they put more people in jail, that's less spots we
I
can
think
use.
hopefully people are getting, they make bond and get out. I don't think it just keeps growing and growing, I would think. I spoke to a couple of the district judges. I hope they try to, maybe some of the non-violent drug offenders, they might consider giving us a little break. You know, I don't know if they are or not, but I've done all I can do for misdemeanors.
did y'all arrest someone or?
Yeah, DPS had an accident down in Shepherd, and the lady was real drunk, and nobody could come get her. They tried everything, so it took the trooper 8 hours to drive her all the way to Brazos County.
Misdemeanor?
The DWI with an accident.
That's a misdemeanor.
Well, you can't just let her go. You can't just let her go.
You can call me and I'll give her a PR bond.
Where do you can't just let her go. She's so drunk. She's 0.25.
Yeah. Time you got up there, she got half sobered up. I don't know. You can keep her a certain amount of time.
We don't have anywhere to keep them. We're not even supposed to bring them into jail for any reason. That's what the jail commission told us. So, this is a major problem. It really is. If we have a big incident, we're not going to have any place to put these people. If y'all can't afford it, I think Emmett's working on something with TDM and the state, where I don't know if they can pay for this thing or whatever.
I want to have a conversation with the jail commission in a situation like this. I just can't, have they even been down there and looked at the situation? They've been in there and looked at anything?
I haven't talked to them down here myself.
It's hard to believe that one room, we can't figure out something that we can do with one room, just for hope. I don't know.
What happened about Polk County and the other section of the jail that they are not using? That you had mentioned that you were gonna check with them.
It would take too much for them to open it up.
We're gonna go into 4, 5, 6 months of this. We're gonna have to do something.
It's gonna take 3 months. There's no doubt. 3.5 months. There ain't no doubt about it.
Unless they come back and let us get back to the jail.
And that's what I'm saying, before it's, no.
We have to address the electrical, the security stuff, and the sheetrock. It's all coming down.
Sheetrock's fine, I mean, it's not falling, just the paint.
So you're not talking about keeping them for any extended period in hold. You're just talking.
No, Brandon said that thing's approved for 48 hours or less. It's not a jail, it's a holding facility. And it's kind of a plug and play deal. It's got toilet in it, it's got air conditioning, everything.
How many were old?
2 women and three men. It's split in the middle.
They can't be able to see each other, correct?
No, it's divided, solid wall.
Can't be,
So you do that when you take them to Red Cat every day?
48 hours.
You don't still defeat them though, and stuff.
Before we got to feed, 14 hours. So we get rid of them before the 14 hours, then go eat wherever they go. You know? And we don't foresee keeping them 14 hours, hopefully not. This is mainly in process and everything,
So are these,
and then get them magistrated.
so I guess my question is, so are these things self-contained?
Yes,
Are they sewer holding tanks, water holding tanks?
they have that, yes,
So then you have to have someone clean them and fill them.
yes.
Just like a portable building, at some point in time, you're talking about doing that, you have to put them on the sewer or anything anyway.
We have to look into that. I'm gonna have a conversation with them again, but
You want to try to talk to them today? We gotta do something. There's gotta be some kind of temporary solution here or something. But we damn sure can't afford $42,000 a month, another $8,000 or $10,000 a month on inmate. We're $50,000 a month. At least 4 months. Really? Plus,
so
what's
you all
going
walk
on?
there and book them in right there at the, right, you know, just past the selling court in that area.
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to bring, we can't lock them in there.
No, through getting a thumbprint and call them to whichever jail you're on. Don't haul them to Galveston, maybe.
No, not yet.
There was no contract for that.
They can walk, the women you said is going to.
The only one taking women, Fred.
That's good. The 17 lessons we started with, I appreciate your efforts. So, can we table the issue of whatever we're gonna call them, portable jail? He just tell them that we got a problem. I think they got us. That we're hooking them over here and then they're hauling them to whatever jail. We have an emergency meeting scheduled. I thought about after 4 hours, you can't turn a guy that's got a PI loose until he turns up, right? I assume it's the same way with DWI. I guess if they're snot slinging drunk, then it takes a little bit longer. So,
And word's getting out, the jail is not operational, so they are acting up. Business is picking up.
all right, 40, we're gonna have to ponder on that 42,000.
Have you got a picture of it?
Yes,
So what's it take to get it certified that the man built one?
they're already filled certification. We sent the same thing to the jail commission.
No, we didn't want to crack up the place.
This is just preliminary.
I had a good understanding.
Actually, it's just an estimation. I want to give you something to tell that something.
Anybody want a copy of it?
This is talking about that.
So they built out annexes, aren't they?
Yes.
Hey. Yeah, you know, that.
That's right. That's
You get that, sure.
Donnie, whatever happened to the Criminal Justice Center out there?
The what?
The Criminal Justice Center out there near the school.
So.
Is it just continue to be a shell?
In the mail, that cost that you get,
Where?
Out there.
because they got one in
Yeah,
here.
one of those, that's another thing.
Where the impound yard is.
Oh, no, they ain't no, no, it's not considered that.
But isn't the personnel going to be affected?
How?
Well, the personnel at the sheriff's office, are they going to be affected?
Not a personnel, they got some few jailers in there. I think, are the dispatchers, are they here still or no? So, they still here. You know, I'm gonna affect them because what they'll do is,
Over there, that whole.
as soon as they uncover,
Hail from one end.
takes them out, 5 sheets, they'll cover 5 sheets.
Okay.
So they're not gonna leave nothing uncovered.
Two people in there. But you never know when something bad can happen. It needs all their requirements.
So these trailers have generators on them too?
It comes with a backup generator. Yes.
Like the old
One of the big ones, 100 amps, the other one's 50 amp. So we ought to be able to plug it into our breaker box. We ought to be able to plug it into the breaker box with the jail.
I doubt it, I doubt they have.
Whatever.
Chicken, have you heard anything from the insurance on your request for?
I was told a while ago they're not gonna pay for anything.
No, this is on the roof. We didn't get nothing on y'all.
All right,
On your request?
No, we didn't.
This is just the roof.
I haven't got a formal answer from them yet,
Right,
but they're not
that's what I
too
was
hip
just-
on.
They're not too.
No, they're not very enthusiastic.
Because if it's turned down, then wouldn't it fall back on this other thing with, smart or FEMA or whatever you're talking about? Working on that too.
All right, we're gonna have to study on this, I think we're going, maybe some other options, but we'll keep it
Right now.
just for the time being. I say it's so, I mean, I don't know what I do. Okay, well, we know what it costs. The money. All right, let's move along to something else. Item number 13, consideration, discussion, possible vote, approve disaster pay policy for overtime for all county employees that require work there and respond to and work.
Good morning. So, really put this on there just for formality. We were approved for category A and correct category B for the storm from July 5th, July 9th. I don't know necessary for y'all's workers how much, or the sheriff's office how much overtime people worked. I know for my office, for those, not a day it wasn't that much. So, really we just need approval or denial so we let people know whether we're going to follow category B or we're not going to file for category B. So,
Category B.
protective measures and stuff like that for the overtime that employees work.
How many things are affected?
So far it affects the y'all's employees, my office and the sheriff's office, to my knowledge. Did y'all have some in that?
Okay, what about county extension man?
She did not.
Now, how about during the, borough?
Oh, dear God.
Your birthday.
Can't we do? 10. I thought we made a policy.
Two separate incidents.
So we're still working on both.
Actually, it's just July 5th to July 9th. Now, TDM is currently working to extend that due to the state so far has over 800 million worth of damages. So they're trying to get that extended for buildings and stuff like that, especially for the jail. This is on their radar.
I think our policy, if I'm not mistaken, restrictions to where we have to do this on every disaster.
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't do it, it's just a 4-day period. I have a motion by Commissioner Grant, second by Commissioner McAnally. July 4th, you said?
July 5th to July 9th.
July 5th and July 9th. So it doesn't say what the category, but you're saying it's for the two categories that's been approved.
So yeah, category A is your debris, and category B is your protective measures. So like your road and bridge people that were out closing roads and clearing trees and all that other stuff.
We should do that.
Yes. So,
But that would be, that would be an RPA, get approval.
We're not working overtime on that, but we're working 8 hours a day.
My only suggestion is the overtime that is worked for that.
Sure.
It needs to be documented on time. You need to go back and time sheets on that.
I had my
So we're approving the payroll, let's look at motions.
Absolutely.
If you don't do that, I don't think they can try to get reimbursed for fees. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Thank you, sir. Item number 14, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve going out for solicitation of bids on 2 CFR 200 for project management and implementation to include data gathering, inspections, reports, and other work is necessary to include creating or updating a SDA database of Sanderson County required by the FEMA 2018 provisions 1206D RRA program for substantially damaged structures in the IP 50% rule and the FEMA new 7/11/24 flood risk management standard firms policy for flood resilience mitigation.
This, I think, is part of what you're going to talk about.
If you want to kind of give us up here and talk. Yes, sir, if you're ready. Brian and I spoke, and he updated me and brought me up to the 21st century about how this thing works. More than I've heard since I've been here, which has been 2 decades.
If the court will entertain, I'd like to talk to you about 2 things. This one that you have on the agenda and what we talked about.
They'll probably hear, the crowd doesn't know who you are.
Okay. My name is Brian Barkley. I'm with the Federal Emergency Management Agency Regional Office of Denton, Texas. I'm a permanent full-time employee there. My role with FEMA is I am a compliance official. With regard to the National Flood Insurance Program, to tie this together with what you've been talking about all morning, in order for communities to participate in the Stafford Act programs, that's your public assistance, your individual assistance, the work that these folks are doing in the building over here, communities must first participate in the National Flood Insurance Program because the primary purpose of that program is a national program of flood risk reduction. The idea is that the most common disaster in the United States to occur is flooding. And there isn't less than 10% of the counties in the U.S. Have not experienced a flooding disaster in their history. So it is the most common thing to happen. And it was becoming a major problem for a lot of the country, and there was no viable private sector program for people to buy insurance against flooding for their homes and businesses. And so a proposal was put forward, and this happened in the 1960s. The act was enacted in 1968 called the National Flood Insurance Act. And it's been amended several times over the years. The proposal was that if local communities would agree to adopt and enforce flood risk reduction measures through local ordinances, or in the case of Texas counties, court orders, then the disaster assistance programs through the various federal agencies, that being FEMA, Small Business Administration, HUD, Corps of Engineers, various federal agencies could be made available. And because we are addressing the standing housing stock that at that time the country was some 200 years in existence, and so there was a considerable amount of housing stock out there that would be at risk, and addressing new development and guiding it in a way that would reduce risk, that it would be possible to offer also an insurance program where citizens could go and purchase insurance for their homes and their businesses. Under the National Flood Insurance Program, you can get up to $250,000 of coverage on a structure, up to $100,000 of contents for a single-family residential dwelling, and you can get up to $500,000 for the structure and $500,000 for contents for a business. Now, there are private sector programs that have come in since the advent of the National Flood Insurance Program to provide excess coverage over and above the National Flood Insurance Program for larger, higher valued homes and larger businesses. Before the program existed, there really wasn't anything out there, and so it has solved that problem. But it's based on, as I mentioned earlier, I know this term is probably unpopular in today's society, but a quid pro quo system.
Brother Sweeney, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
So this is really going to start impacting us here in the future. I'm just letting you know, you might. Okay, go ahead.
Under this system, we rely on the local communities to enact floodplain management regulations and require that new development and substantial improvement, and when you read through your court order, which I have a copy of it here, which I'll refer to in a little bit on a couple of things, most of the standards that are put forth in there for various provisions of it start off with all new construction and substantial improvement shall. So that's what we're addressing. We're addressing new development, and then when damage happens from any origin to structures, or if I owned property and I chose to improve the property, a consideration has to be made as to how great the damage is, or what is the amount of my improvement compared to my existing value. And your court order has a 50% threshold established on those. So when damage occurs to a property that exceeds a 50% threshold, or a property is improved that exceeds a 50% threshold.
Court order or something. The court adopted an order, if I'm not mistaken, when the government has the National Flood Insurance Program. And they provide that because the private sector doesn't seem to offer flood insurance to our citizens. And we don't have to buy into this program and support it and all, but if we don't, the local governments don't do what he's explaining to do, then we're going to miss out on, our constituents won't be able to. He's going to hit it here in a minute.
I'm going to give you a laundry list here in a minute.
Yeah, good. Well, I'll stop and let you continue on. But
you're making a good point. Thanks for reminding me of it. Your court order has a 50% threshold. That's a comparison to the market value in the case of improvement at the time the improvement is made, or in the case of damage at the time the damage occurs. All right, so I want to offer you an overview of that part. And now to the point that Judge Faulkner just made, the Stafford Act and the programs that go with it are pretty far-reaching. It would include what you've been discussing most of the morning on the jail, for instance. So public infrastructure, public facilities, your roads and bridges, those are all under the Stafford Act. The Individual Assistance to Households Grant Program, that's under the Stafford Act. The Small Business Administration Low Interest Loan Program, that's under the Stafford Act. The Corps of Engineers will oftentimes provide assistance to communities to do improvements that is designed to improve the infrastructure in the community. Many times they'll receive grants for things like demolition services for damaged homes and elevations, things like that. Also comes in under that act. And many of the services that Housing and Urban Development provide in a disaster environment are also under that act. So it is a far-reaching thing that if you're not participating in the National Flood Insurance Program, you lose eligibility for many of these things. Now, there are still some programs as far as disaster assistance that are available outside of special flood hazard areas if a community does not participate. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, but I can say that it would be a noticeable difference for a community that did not participate in the program in a post-disaster environment. Two new responsibilities under this court order. I'm going to read you a few. I don't want to take a lot of time on this part, but I want you to have a full understanding of what we're talking about. I'm going to read you a couple of definitions. Substantial damage definition means damage of any origin sustained by a structure whereby the cost of restoring the structure to its before damage condition would equal or exceed 50% of the market value before the damage occurred. And then substantial improvement is similar. It says it means any construction, rehabilitation, addition, or other improvement of the structure cost would exceed 50% of the market value of the structure before the start of construction. It goes on to say that this term includes structures which have incurred substantial damage regardless of actual work performed. So, if you think about that for a minute, when an event happens, your definition of development says that development is any man-made change to improve or unimprove real estate. So when an event happens, it's not a man-made change. It's a natural event. Many people refer to them as acts of God. But it's not something that I did or that you did. It's a condition current of that structure. It's now a damaged structure. If I go to repair that structure under that definition, that is development. So because of that, your permit office, this station, has a responsibility under the program to require permits because anything that's a definition of development requires a permit if it's in the special flood hazard area.
So whether or not it's 50% of the value more?
If it's development, a permit is required.
Regardless of the value?
Regardless of the amount of development. That's correct, sir.
So the storm blows out a window, and I just want to replace the window.
Well,
I got to come and get a permit? Is that what?
FEMA does offer some flexibility for communities to establish a threshold for that. The community where I live, for instance, has a $7,500 threshold. But it is intended to be reflective of what the definition of development is. So if you have a flood damaged structure and you're going to have to go in and replace all the flooring and pull out the sheetrock and redo the entire interior of the building, that definitely fits this definition of a man-made change to improve or improve real estate. So before that permit can be issued, that permit official has to make a determination. And that's all. That process is also described in the order as a process whereby information has to be collected. It has 4 parts. First, the market value of the structure has to be determined. Then the cost of repair. And when we're talking about substantial damage, what we're trying to determine is what would it cost to restore the structure to its before damage condition. And again, as I just read, that's regardless of what you actually intend to do. What that permit official has to do is they have to decide to restore it to its pre-damage condition, what would it cost? And decide whether or not, that exceeds 50% of the market value of that structure at the time the damage occurred. So to give you an idea, I might wait a while. I've seen disasters where people wait several years and then they come back and they repair a structure several years later. If the floodplain administrator had not done those determinations in a timely manner, it's very difficult to come in 3 years later and meet that requirement, because most of what you would need to look at, the natural processes have erased.
Every time we have a flood, she's supposed to get in her car and ride around all over the county and look for potential.
That's another good question, Judge, and thanks for bringing that up. It reminds me of a recommendation I want to make here in a minute or two. So it is an additional workload. I think that's where your agenda item comes in. So I want to talk to you on 2 levels. I want to talk to you about what you can do right now without any additional resources being brought into the county. And then I want to talk to you about some things that I've identified in my time here in the county. It's been a little over a month now I've been in and around your operation, and my observations that I've made in the field. Now, just so you know, I've got an extensive background in this field, so I think my observations, you can take them as credible observations. If you want, you can call the region and check up on them. They'll vouch for you. When an event happens, those 4 things that have to be done, you have to determine that market value, you have to determine that damage, you have to compare them and provide a notice to the property owner that they either were or were not substantially damaged, but they need a permit to repair either way. And then there's also an appeal process that might happen. I might get that notice and I might say, I really don't agree with that. And here's why. I think my market value was higher or lower, depending on whether I want to be or not be substantial damage, whatever my disagreement is. And it is part of the program designed that would be allowable. I would be able to bring credible data to your permit office, and they would consider that. So there's additional work there that takes place immediately after an event that wouldn't exist in just a normal sunny day environment for your permit office. So I want to talk just briefly about something called Disaster Recovery Reform Act of 2018, Section 1206. That's what's on your agenda here. It is a act which is designed to provide assistance to state and local governments for building code and floodplain administration and enforcement, including inspections for substantial damage compliance, and base and overtime wages for extra hires to facilitate the implementation and enforcement of adopted building codes for a period not more than 180 days after major disaster is declared. So now in the case of your category G, when Mr. Jason White was here a couple weeks ago, that started your clock ticking, that 180 days. There may be another one coming up here because now we've got, I think it's called VR 1792, which is Hurricane Beryl, and may have another period of time. And, but the idea there is, like I just gave an example where I wait 3 years and then I come in and get my permits to repair. If that determination hadn't been made back there right after the event, it's almost impossible to do it. That's why there's a time limit on how long that assistance is available. It's the intent of the federal programs and our state partners that these determinations be made within that period of time, so that the data, which would be perishable, is observed before it goes away, and it's fair to everyone. So the other things in your agenda item, it talks about including updating an SDE database. So let me explain what that is. FEMA provides a software system to floodplain administrators called Substantial Damage Estimator. This system can be used to do estimations of damage and to track the addresses and function as a database. The difficulty for floodplain administrators on local level, though, is getting the data to put in there in the first place. And when arriving here, upon arriving here about a month or so ago, I talked to your permit official and I asked her, what's in your database that we need to look at? And the answer was, well, what database are you talking about? So the first step that I had to undertake with your local administrator was, you've got to go find some data. Now, fortunately, you have a tax office here in the county that has some pretty good data that they were willing to help. But the way it's organized is not comprehensive to set up a database that would cover what you really need to cover, which is all the structures that have a footprint in the special flood hazard areas within the county. We were able to come up with a workaround to address just the hardest hit areas and meet what I would call a bare minimum compliance level for the program for substantial damage estimates. And that work is still underway at this time. It's not finished yet. So let's talk about the road ahead on this.
What happens when you ride up there and you just say you were to ride up somewhere and see a watermark on the fence of the house? You approach them and you want to, how are you going to really know what the damages are unless you go in the house and look at it?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to talk a little bit about that next right now.
They'd pull out their long Tom, I used to call them and say, no, you ain't coming in my house.
Thank you.
I guess I just cut through it all. So how many more employees are we going to hire?
Well, I don't know about that. That's up to you.
That's basically where we're going.
Maybe not. So,
what if there was wouldn't it be nice if there was a government employees and while they were out there pushing their limbs out of the way, they could snap a few photos? I don't know how they do it in other counties.
We definitely do that.
So let's let me. I can real quick while I got you off. You're number 3 now.
No, this is gonna be easy.
Okay.
You said you got your data from a tax office. I'm hoping you said, you meant to say appraisal district.
Yes.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Correct. I just want to correct that, because the tax office didn't do appraisal.
Yeah,
I know.
it's the office next to the courthouse over there. Appraisal district. I just let your local official be the guide on where to go. I didn't come in with a preconceived idea of where to get things, but fortunately they did have some data. It was sufficient, as I said, to get to a minimum compliant level with that current event. Now none of us counted at the time on having another event right behind that one. And remember, I started off by giving you that definition. It says damage from any origin. So it could be flood, it could be a tree fell in the house, it could be anything. And so what's really needed is, first off, a database that covers all of your building stock in the flood hazard area. Your permit office should have that. That would be what's needed to properly administer your flood damage prevention order. And while I'm in there,
flood hazard area is, I don't know whether we created a list that lists every single address.
no, you have done that, Judge. And I think that's something that you should undertake. It's going to become necessary, especially as development pressure starts to lean on the county pretty heavily, which is it's in your future.
When we had our discussion, I can't hardly stand it. You said, first of all, one of the first things you said, y'all are not under scrutiny at this point, but we're trying to get ahead of all of that, right?
Let me address that. I'm going to try to do the two things at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Your concern was extra employees and so forth. That's actually a decision that needs to be made locally, and there may be some of those blue sky things I talked about, reasons why you might need additional staff in that office over there, and I'll get to that. But to your point about how do you do it from a distance, and there's people that won't want you just walking in. That's why it's called an estimate initially. What happens is the substantial damage estimator system can be used either by a detailed inspection entering the premises, or you can use it in a fashion where you're making observations from the road of the water depth on a structure, and then just having some knowledge about how buildings are put together and where things are, like appliances and cabinets and wall surfaces, electrical plugs, etc. There's 10 things you need to consider, and then it gives you an output based on the calculated value of the building and the calculated damage. Now that is an estimate. And so from that estimate, an initial determination is made, and that notice is sent to the property owner. As I said earlier, the property owner can bring better information, or the property owner can request that the permit official come out and actually do a more detailed analysis by entering the premises with permission. And that is how we recommend that communities function. Is either, if you're going to enter the premises, that you have the owner's permission to do so, or do an estimate initially, notify people of the need for a permit and what the estimate is, and offer them the chance to either open the property up for inspection or provide more detailed data on their own. So that process takes time. I've observed the permit office is trying to take on this extra workload right now, and they have their regular business that they're responsible for too, and it has been a challenge for them. Okay. So getting to that point you just asked, it may be extra employees that the county decides is the best way. I can't make that decision for you. I can tell you that this act will provide for temporary extra hires. It will also provide for the hiring of contractors to do this kind of work for you. Remembering that this is something that happens in a post-event environment, that may turn out to be the best way.
160 more days, 150 more days.
Well, you have 180 days from the time that Category G gets authorized. So that's not my decision to make. That's your decision to make. What I intend to do is offer you information about what it is and what you need to do, and then it's up to you to determine, which of the available methodologies might work. There are several things that are allowable under that. One is, as I said, overtime hours for existing employees, or additional temporary hires that would actually work for the county.
Once we get the database or whatever the information gathered up, that's the biggest part of the work. Then we're caught up, so to speak, and then you just
you would have that after event surge that would happen each time you have an event, but the heavy lift is done of creating the database and the system of doing the estimates. That's the big thing up front. That's the upfront or barrier to entry, if you will.
Do you have a recommendation like we're going to do the database to y'all? Tricia, do you?
I can't make a recommendation for a contractor as a federal employee, but I can give you, the county, a list of contractors that have received authorization to work under that discipline program. I could get that for you. Yes.
If you could provide that to Trish, then we could take the next steps and try to get that done. We'd have to hire them and then.
Yeah, there are several. You can also do something called capacity building under this act. So if there were things that you needed to do, such as building that database or acquiring equipment, I think your floodplain office, your permit office might have acquired some equipment needed for the process. Those kinds of things can also be included in that grant provision. So it is designed to encompass what you would need to respond to that requirement and the additional workload and demands on systems that might occur from it. Now I want to get on to a couple of things that really aren't even post-disaster related or related to the ERA 1206 provisions. I've observed a couple of areas of your program that could be improved and should be improved if you want to remain in good standing with the program, the National Flood Insurance Program. One area is that it appears that after looking at some of the areas of the floodplain, the requirement to obtain a permit to develop, to engage in development as it's defined in the order, may not have been uniformly enforced at all times. And that is a requirement of the program. Now, it's my understanding that you have some cooperation from maybe some utility providers in the area that will help by notifying you when someone requests new service. But since I have
until they come back and get a permit, that's the way it's supposed to work.
Judge, I'm going to make a recommendation that we do something a little different than that. If you'll entertain it. Since I have the commissioners in the room here, it's my understanding each precinct has a yard and has people that are regularly out in the community. Am I correct with that? So it's a simple thing. If you are able to have your county employees be aware that when they see development occurring, that they should notify your precinct foreman, who could then in turn notify your permit office. She can simply check and see if she has a permit or not. If she doesn't have a permit, then she can go and talk to the people or give them otherwise some kind of notice that they should have a permit for that development.
I do my own. Ask Ms. Basham.
I believe I've been told that.
I do my own.
Okay.
I got it from you, they tell me, and I communicate.
You don't know how many times I call her. Saturdays, Sundays.
I think when she gets stuff going on, do you sometimes give like a little report to the commissioners? Well, you want that could, I assume it already is a two-way street.
She sends me one every week.
Okay.
All the paramedics.
Well, what I'm recommending here is that there's interdepartmental cooperation so that you can sufficiently maintain that requirement to make sure a permit is obtained when development occurs. That's the recommendation. So that's something that can be done without any additional resources.
If y'all see new buildings going up, drop her a line or call, let her know about it.
We've been
doing that for years.
I think one's been doing that for the last, 3 years, since this thing really started off.
We're trying to help.
That's great. That's great.
Now the other thing is there's as I looked at the county and what looked like it was probably recent development, went and looked in the ordinance to see if there was a provision for what are called engineering studies when subdivisions are developed. And there is a provision in the ordinance for that. But I have observed some areas where it's apparent that that provision was not enacted at the time of development because the map does not reflect it. If the provision is enacted, a detailed study would be conducted to determine a reasonably safe elevation, we call the base flood elevation, for the subdivision development. And that also gives the floodplain office valuable technical data that they can use when it's not a subdivision development. Maybe it's just a single house development nearby, where they now know they have some more accurate data as far as what the flood levels and normal cycles can be expected in the area. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what's the goal behind that? I started out by saying the National Flood Insurance Program is a national program of flood risk reduction. So I'm going to paint a very simple picture for you. When you go down to the area below the dam, you can observe development that's taken place in the last few years, and I've confirmed this through aerial imagery from satellite data. Some of it's right on the ground. And so I know that the elevation requirement was not enforced, and they probably didn't have permit. And then some of it is up, it's elevated where it should be. Now, we had a pretty bad event there in that particular area. It's a hard-hit area of the county. And that's what insurance is for. So both structures from this event were damaged. But the one that's 12 feet in the air, it only had a foot or two of water in. And it can be repaired and it's not substantially damaged. So the insurance can respond to that, and the program's not taking the hit that they're taking on the one that's on the ground where the water was over the roof. That's the intent of the program. Nothing you can do as far as risk management will completely eliminate all risk. There's always residual risk. But the idea is to make that risk manageable and to make the community resilient through that risk management, such that people are able to recover within their means, or the programs of assistance that are available out there are sufficient. But none of the programs that we have were designed to take that hit for that structure on the ground. We cannot continue to deliver that repeated damage cycle for that structure to these programs over and over again and expect them to remain in place. I can't make that more clear. So that's why we need local floodplain management regulations and the participation on a voluntary basis, as the judge pointed out, of the local community. Because that part of the program authority is expressly granted under all three levels of law, as federal, state, and local level, to the local official and the local government. And the reason for that is that's the way the Constitution of this country reads. The land use authority belongs to the various states, and the state delegated it to the local governments.
I have a question real fast. Myself personally, I've called in on a few of them doing stuff. And they go out there and they basically tell them they can't do that.
You read it tonight?
Yeah, they basically can't do that. They tell them they can't do that. So what is our option when they continue to do?
Well, and that's the next step in the program after we figure out where the damage happened, what's substantial, what needs to be addressed. I actually have a counterpart unit that's operating in the Joint Field Office right now called a Disaster Assistance Strike Team. Their mission is when we've identified these areas and we've gone out and we've done the estimates and we have quantified what the damage is, that's the first step. We bring those folks in and they look at what programs of assistance might best address the needs of those citizens for their recovery. There's flood mitigation assistance. There's the Small Business Administration loan, which is known as a mitigation component. The flood insurance program itself has a increased cost of compliance benefit if they have flood insurance. CBDG-DR usually comes in through the General Land Office in Texas with programs either for buyout and demolition or elevations There's a number of different programs that come in through that same Stafford Act, which you gain access to by.
I believe he's getting that.
But the majority of the people that are doing this, they don't want insurance anyway, they don't have insurance, care less about insurance.
Well, they may not have insurance,
What they're doing is they're going here on Saturdays and Sundays, and this ain't no lie, they'll build a house on a weekend.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you a little story. I was doing preliminary damage assessments over in Harris County on the east side of the lake, and I went into this neighborhood. You know, preliminary damage is when we try to figure out if it's a big enough event to have a disaster declaration. Went into this neighborhood, disaster's not even declared yet, and I passed by this big Lowe's store, and then I went in, and there were trucks with trailers headed out, going the other way. And then we went in and looked around, and a couple hours later, we're headed out, and all those same trucks are headed back in with building materials. So I know they'll do that. And it's a difficult thing to manage.
But we have no way of, there's no teeth to it, there's no biting. No matter what y'all pass or we pass, there's no biting.
He's fixing to get into that, I think. He's gonna talk about
1316.
So there's
hearings at the JP court and so forth.
that was going to be my last stop. Is
If they participate, if they take it.
Well,
There's a solution in it.
Go on what you're saying, I think what you're talking about is making, and I'd like to point out, you're making repeated claims on flood damage.
And we all get that.
But I want to go on for 6 years with the JP court.
That's part of his presentation, and that's coming. So real quick, when you started talking about changing the subdivision rules and making.
Well, they're not actually changing, they're already in here.
They're already in there.
I mean, maybe putting it on the plat, because that's what you were alluding to.
Well,
That's what people know, that there is a base floodplain elevation to build to.
Yes.
That's fine, but it really needs to be on the floodplain permit. It's not a building permit, it's a floodplain permit.
Yes, sir, you're correct. On both points, you're correct. Absolutely.
So now, I'm gonna go back and what he was talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but if somebody makes a claim, first time, under the new rules, once they're made that claim, they go in there and elevate or whatever, if they make another claim for the same structure that's damaged again, they may not give them high assistance, because they're required when they make that claim, they're on the carry, obtain and maintain insurance.
I'm gonna cover some parts of the program which are designed to address that question at two levels. One is what the federal response is, and then the other is what local communities can do to protect themselves and maintain good standing in the program. So let's just say for a moment that I'm a citizen who decides I don't want to do anything that your permit official says I'm supposed to do. And I've received disaster assistance. I've had damage to my structure, and I really should have the permit, but I don't. And I repair it. I don't pay any attention to the regulations. We ask that the local government make notice to me that I'm required to have a permit. And if I defy that notice and put a time on that notice, say you need to come in within this amount of time and obtain a permit. It's a simple request. If I defy that notice, then what you do is you set a hearing, an administrative hearing. I believe your ordinance makes your JP court system responsible for that part. FEMA doesn't dictate how you do that part. You decide that. And that hearing is for purposes of deciding whether or not I am defying this court order. If I am found to be in defiance of the court order, I'm to be given notice, and your order has provision for a fine. Now, your fine is the amount of $500 for each violation. I believe that comes from the state model order. FEMA does not dictate the amount of the fine. We just ask that you have some type of penalty phase so that locally you can motivate me to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, let's say that I don't come to my hearing, you have levied a fine, and I I've got plenty of money, so I just pay the fine and I say, okay, that's over. I'm out of that situation. At that point, you can document that process, and you can provide that documentation to FEMA Region 6. As the compliance official, I am your contact for that. And what will happen from there is that you're going to make a notice to me that you tried to compel me to comply through the enforcement provisions of your court order as they are enacted or adopted. And I refuse to comply. Here's the evidence of that. And if that evidence is valid, I'll present that to the regional insurance liaison and the Bureau of Statistical Agent, who will make me ineligible for flood insurance and disaster assistance. For anything to do with the repair of my structure,
You issue a name for what it is you issued.
I'm sorry, what?
There was a name for what?
Yes, I'm gonna.
Okay.
For replacement of my personal property if it's in that structure. Now that requirement will follow the structure. That action is called a 1316 action. It comes from 44 CFR Part 73. Part 73 spells out the process for placing a 1316 status on a property, and it spells out the process for removing a 1316 status from a property once I come to my senses and comply with your local regulations. So once again, if I come in at that point and I say, well, I just didn't understand how serious this was, and now I do. What do I need to comply? And I follow those instructions, get a permit, and bring my structure into compliance. Then you document that process. You send that information to FEMA Region 6. Again, I'm your point of contact for that. And then we will submit to the Bureau of Statistical Agent and the Regional Insurance Liaison, and that 1316 status will be removed from the property. It will become fully eligible again. So that's the full circle of how it works. Now, I just tell you that that's a pretty effective measure. I've had counties in the past that have, counties and cities, that have used that provision, and it's generally not long before that property owner decides they're going to follow the rules. There are some that hold out, but not too many. Once again, though, nothing you can do is going to be 100% effective. That's pretty much my observations so far with your program. I would say your program is, at this time, it's in good standing and it's minimally compliant. There are some areas that need to improve if it's to be truly a flood risk reduction program in nature.
We did authorize hiring a person to help work on that locally. And of course, the election commission hired a new election administrator because they both were signed effective end of the month. So I think that lady is going to go there. But we still have the position. We're going to put another person in that spot. By the way, I told them to get over here before she leaves and report over there and get trained while they can. I don't know who else would train.
If I may, I can send you some training resources for your personnel. I would recommend that.
I was just letting them know for the election people that are going over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Listen.
One works for me, and I told her, you report over there, and you're still on in my department. I'm paying, county judge's budget's paying, but there's no other way to give them training this quick.
Some training resources that are available through FEMA and our state partners. We offer a course called Managing the Floodplain through the National Flood Insurance Program. It's a 4-day course. They call it E273 or LO273, depending on whether it's offered at Emmitsburg, Maryland, at the Emergency Management Institute, or whether it's offered somewhere out in a deployed location. It's a 4-day course, so the county will incur the expense of 4 days of employee time and whatever it would cost to send the employee to the course, you know, for lodging or meals, anything like that. What I can say though is that course is, in my mind, essential for anyone who is going to be responsible for maintaining compliant floodplain development permitting processes in the community. So I highly recommend that you send anyone in the county that's going to be responsible for permitting processes to a 273 course at your earliest opportunity.
That's good information. And Trish's aware of that. She's been to that, I'm sure.
I think she's aware the course exists, but hasn't had yet the opportunity to go.
Well, like I said, she don't know it, but right now, if she's not the one doing it, she needs to send her certificate.
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying she doesn't need to go and know what to talk about. Who's ever inputting that information and going out and getting that data, they're the ones who need to go to that class.
Well, what I'm going to tell you, Commissioner, is anyone who's engaged in your processes that are somehow part of the floodplain management program here in this county, it would be advisable to send them to that course at some point in time. Thank you for your...
Thank you very much.
They tell us that we go inside a call. I know what it is. It's a slab, the electrical, in the metal roof on the ground. And see if we can get a hold of them. I'll get her, see if she could call them where you pick it up. It's that name. It's called on to pick up.
What's it called? How are we going to pay it?
Yeah, to see how it's yeah, because they're right here locally. They're right here. Yeah, just write something on it for him to pick up.
No, that's
I don't even think that very good.
Sir, they will hear about it. Yeah, this is that.
There was a motion, but it's been withdrawn.
Still good, we're gone?
Yeah. Y'all probably didn't hear it. The clerk didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I'm not moving it around. Commissioner?
I'll make a motion to go out and bid for. Contract.
Okay. Commissioner, did you do it?
Because he decided to.
I just asked how much it costs, that's all. I don't know.
That's the way you go, you have to go out, get that 180 day rule, get it done.
I mean, when you go out to bid, what's it gonna cost to go out to bid?
That much you got.
That ain't gonna cost.
And
That's all we're talking about.
have a little money.
So he said he wanted to withdraw the motions. Get it. I didn't hear any of that. They didn't hear it either.
Drop salary ring.
So are you seconding the motion, Commissioner?
I did.
Okay.
First person.
I just did together.
Well, I was trying to listen to 2 or 3 things at once. Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon to go out for solicitation of bids on the CFR 200 for project management and implementation to include data gathering Inspections, reports, and other work that's necessary to include creating or updating a SD database for Citizen County. Now, second by Commissioner McInerney, any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0.
So they can use this word right here in their ad, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Should they? So, I mean, we see, make sure they know what's put in the ad.
It's pretty much covered, anybody that does this work.
So, while I'm talking about ads and first in the paper for, let's post it on bids. I thought we voted up here to put an ad, advertise the bid for cameras in the jail. After we got the proposal last time. Right?
I don't remember if you said that, but we did.
Yeah, it should be in the minutes. Should be in the minutes. That is one of the things that's gonna be wrong with jail. Jail should come. And I'm not saying you have to do anything, but I thought we advertised the bid.
Well, I think part of the problem is we just want one newspaper that's part of anybody reads.
We did?
What?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Well, that just meets the requirement. We all know that's really the way it works. We send it everywhere, we post it. And, you know, certain things we're doing, there's websites where all the guys that deal with jails, whatever. That big one. Thank you, sir.
They're looking at the minutes ago.
If anyone has any questions about any part of it, please discuss what you're doing.
Did you think more like this was on the home? Real nice lady. About the letter she got. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bureaucracy. It's
So that's probably,
to hire more people. It's what it has to, it's just more government.
I want to go back to number 10.
that's right. That's probably a no for lunch then.
I'm sorry?
That's probably a no for y'all going out to lunch.
I don't think that person wants anything to do with it.
You want to talk about Brit?
Yeah. Number 10, consideration, discussion, possible vote for approved necessary action for repairs to Citizen County Jail and/or housing of inmates at remote locations. I did say, I went ahead and told them to run that. Sure. To make me feel better, we could get a motion ratifying the running of that ad. I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mars to ratify the, I was just trying to think outside the box and move forward, not say, and save some time. Running the ad in the paper that we were going out for bids. Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. It's unanimous 4-0. Jacinto stepped down. You sure you get that?
Yeah, you're gonna get that information changed on that bid, ain't you?
Who's gonna send that? Who's gonna change it? Who's gonna send it?
Y'all have to change it.
Are you talking about for the,
For the PERS.
well, we're gonna get the
We're gonna put
information
that in the
from,
scope of work.
we're gonna get that in the scope of work and we're gonna send it out to as many
Okay.
roofers as
And
we
I'm gonna put
possibly.
it on the website.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yes.
I see the scope of work done. I can pass them out. if
Yes.
I ask.
Yeah, I had asked him for a copy, electric copy, and he's gonna send it to Commissioner Lieutenant, and he's gonna get it to me.
All right, item number 6, consider approval of claims.
What happened on 15?
It's executive.
Nothing happened over there. Emily,
Hand up for you.
good. We're on paying the bills, Commissioner.
Yes, sir. Did y'all see the one for Rebel in here?
Yep. No.
It wasn't much.
No. I got one in on 700.
Oh, 700. Almost 300.
And treasurer,
Yes.
I would like to have a little bit, Jake. I don't want that one floating around anymore.
Which one?
Rebel on the 700 channel.
28 something.
Brady, will you mark that?
I will, I'm doing it now.
289, 430.
That's almost 300,000. You're not even done yet, ain't you?
We'll probably have it ready for you tomorrow. We'll come pick it up tomorrow.
Will the other checks be ready to run in here?
Possibly, but most likely, they're still finishing that payroll.
So that's picture.
Any of them have notes on them?
Did you get one?
Here's that notes on.
I know.
Where's that tractor? Where's that tractor? The tractor. Didn't say that. There's $300,000.
Yeah, that was for, mobile radios, car radios. Bigger bills are for floods and these are such my office. You can go in, it's expensive to pay. Not only that's what these systems expensive. Those have a bunch of extra features. So those are actually tri-bands. They are certainly in areas.
You're originally 3950.
Say, they come up to the jail and, hey, I've got $2,000 in. About 20 at the car.
Margie, how much is left in our 22 fund?
What?
Senate Bill 22.
How much is left?
How much is left in there? 'Cause we had to take some down to pay the sheriff before.
The only thing that we're taking out is the sheriff's portion. That's about 14,000 something. Maybe 20 at the most, I think would benefit to me.
You know what number? 57.
20.
Senate Bill 22. That's 308.
It's 90. Fund.
Somewhere else because my law gave this guy a number.
Everybody else says that. Personal line, home line.
Text me back. Send something back and you can.
90, yeah, it's 148.
How much is in it?
So we have not spent, we have spent $11,727.
What's the balance of it?
338,000.
That's close enough. We'll have to put in 28. 36.
The amount that we have in operation is for the 332,939 is what we have in there for.
And that's the DA's not even?
The DA's is separate.
It's separate.
Well, I'm just saying, on revenues for Senate Bill 22, whatever that feature, and you got that, you got both of them there together, right? That's what I'm saying.
That's enough.
No. If you notice, it's taken out and it's only 300.
But it was in there.
It was, and we were advised to put it just
That's
separate.
all we're asking about Senate Bill.
For the DA?
Where's the bill?
You would ask me that?
I'm sorry. I'm pretty good.
Trying to remember where, 48, I think. Fund 48.
Where the bill?
Yes. So his expenses are on 102.
I want to do that. Put it on another bid. Another bid. That's why I didn't see yours on top, mine's on the bottom. Bunch of radio stuff that gets a bid on.
But his isn't used for,
Huh?
I said the DA's SB22 can't be used for any.
No, that's his. That's totally separate.
Okay.
He just get raises with it. I need a raise. That's it. I guess what's up.
I have a motion to pay the bills by Commissioner Brandon. Second by Commissioner Mars. Any questions? What did you say about the 79 account? There's people in there for rubber.
About almost 290. Now Waterwood Parkway stuff.
It ain't like, that's just a line that ain't got no money standing behind it. But isn't that, aren't we?
We're hoping to be reimbursed
We're
by
hoping to be reimbursed by FEMA.
I'll tell you that general fund.
Should Well, once it got big, I'd suggest it come out of somebody's fund balance, I'm just saying.
It is.
Yeah, the road bridge fund, I know you may not have the big one. These other guys have been saving them, and I see y'all out there doing some projects. I've seen a lot of things where you must have spent.
You ain't seen much doing on the projects, but come to meetings.
I love that.
Just wait for the weather to
Okay, no more comments on the bills, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, the ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0.
On what?
On what? I don't remember that.
She brought us about $200,000 charge down reading the camera.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We gotta bid that out, we go out to bid for that. You said it in court.
I didn't see.
That's something.
That's not on, I didn't see that, is that in the bills to pay for?
No.
Okay.
George's, I was asking if they bid it out. They said they didn't want nothing back.
I don't remember that. I'm not saying it didn't happen, I could have, maybe, I don't even remember missing a meeting, but I might have been.
We've not talked about it, I don't know if we. Sure. So the funds.
I thought we was buying radios.
Anyway. Yeah. Which is one more point. Open the jail one point.
There might be some lifting radios that we can listen to.
We don't go to jail commission.
Rich is.
I'm gonna call.
Rich is. Some designated, we
Talk
got,
to me, but I don't.
we got a sale in those. We got to. A couple of sales.
We get that done back.
I mean,
Not that.
I mean,
That's what they like to do.
the rain's got over.
We go to work.
I think we do both.
How much was the camera bid?
They had like 200.
One she brought $200,000.
I think we do it for less than 100.
Well, we do. I'm not saying that's what's, if anything, I'm not saying if anything's broke, if it's got an updated quote, just read
You
it.
seen some, is there some areas that's not covered?
I don't know.
I'm not sure that we got all the radios, I mean, the cameras are down.
We don't know. We just know we're here.
That's not all wrong with it. Y'all need to stop and think about fixing one thing and not the rest.
Yeah, but
Judge, I don't care what you say.
I know you don't.
We need to have them to tell us exactly what's wrong before we fix one thing and then they go something else.
He's talking about SB 22 where he fixed the jail. We can't do that.
You know?
That's all my point is.
No, I'm talking about using SB 22
You
about our new camera system. That's what they call it, they wanted a brand new camera system.
And possibly some radios.
I don't know if that's right.
We got the radios covered. We're gonna have to find some other money. I'm with you. That's what we need to open it back up, and we're gonna have to.
Whatever they tell us we gotta do,
I'm
we
just
gotta
trying to say, I thought you were saying, let's use that 22 money to do cameras. We can't do that.
So that's why we went out to bid last quarter, because we got time crunches there. Let's go on and bid for the radio. I'm not saying we're gonna buy them.
Do you have any notes that we did that? I don't remember that.
I don't.
I think it got talked about. I don't think it got committed to a motion.
You know, that's my conference, he's recording it.
His memory like all of us, over there, ain't that long.
Have to look on YouTube.
Well, I've got the court agenda where she gave us that.
You're the only one that thinks we did that, Mark.
Oh, yeah, you don't make nothing, we don't do anything.
I think we did.
You can tell me the date. in the minutes.
Go out for bid, not to buy, Ray. Not go out for bid.
It's, and I vaguely remember that, I'm thinking it was July 10th.
Yes. Well, July 10th, months right here. Well, did it get done?
July 10th.
I was in
They
there
know
and Brandy
that.
was late for court, so that must have been done before Brandy made it into court.
Gonna be tore up with what, man?
These are all.
Water, trees.
Those are all. That's why you didn't find it.
Good.
So if we look and see. Well, listen, we can go into executive session and we can talk about security issues if that's part of it.
No.
If not, if it was already voted to be done, then.
I think it is.
Then we need, I just don't remember. I ain't saying you didn't do it.
We can look, we'll find out. No big deal. Ain't like we're gonna have today anyway.
All right, number 7, consider approval of budget amendments, revenue certifications. I don't know if there's any. There looks like
What?
There is a budget amendment.
Is that for like last year's budget? I got a budget amendment in it. Is that for last year's? What? This budget? Oh, wait, this.
No, this just wasn't changed.
Huh?
The form, I didn't catch it when they sent it over here. I would have adjusted it. It's for 24.
Well, it looks like it says from 2023 to 24, but you said 23 shouldn't be in.
It's 24 budget. Your budget's 23 and 24.
I know, but it looked like it was an auditor thing, like, hey, to me, I was thinking, this is something that you didn't change last year, now we're changing it now.
No, this is it. This is it.
So what is this? Miscellaneous contract and services contract, what's the difference? What are you trying to do?
They tell me you can't use, the contract services, and, the one on, contract service miscellaneous, you can't use it for, that's what I was told for the last, every so often, you turn it in, not by this auditor, but the one before. And I was just moving money because I'm over in that line item and that one, I've got money.
What do you do with miscellaneous contracts?
I don't know, let's ask this auditor.
I didn't understand why there was a miscellaneous contract services and a contract services.
I didn't either.
I don't understand why there, it used to be a miscellaneous line item.
Nobody created no new line. I don't. Y'all do what y'all do. I don't get in your lane. It's coming up budget. We didn't change.
I don't know, I think it's on that line because that's what I've been told, that all our contractors, or the contractors we've been doing.
If you paid for miscellaneous, you pay for the house cleaning or the
Right.
security or stuff like that, and it's kind of spent. This other is, I don't know what it is, road work.
Contracted services and services that they pay for.
Road work, right?
I mean, if she's all right, I mean, using that or paying a contractor to do road work, I'm good with it.
I would just go ahead and be consistent, and then when we're in budget, we can discuss that more then.
Okay, well, I'm 25 over on that, why I had money in there.
Why don't we just do the budget then?
Well, that's what I said. Let's go ahead and be consistent, and then we'll discuss it later.
Whatever y'all want to do.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Okay, Mr. Matuno says he's already made one. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Brandon.
All I'm doing is trying to keep my budget.
Any comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Item number 8, consider approval of minutes of meetings.
I wasn't here.
Budget workshop, we didn't have any forum. It was on the calendar and I didn't expect anybody. I think I showed up because I put it on there, but I wasn't betting on us having a forum, so we didn't have it.
I think you just need Mr. Randall.
I was just gonna say,
Maybe it was y'all, I don't know, maybe I wasn't in there. I don't know. June 12th, June 21st via Zoom, and June 26th.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Jacinto, second by Commissioner Brandon. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous. 5-0.
I wasn't here, Judge. Never last.
You wasn't here on which one? Budget workshop. But we didn't have a meeting, we didn't have a forum.
Nope.
Sir, it is.
All right. I'm sorry. Sit down. I was shutting my internet on last Thursday.
Item number 9, receive and consider approval of June 2024 departmental reports.
David said they just sent him one on the OEM, right?
He just sent that.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
I got the ag, farm marshal.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon to approve all reports except the Ag Extension, Fire Marshal, and Veterans. I have a second by Commissioner McNamara. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
One quick thing.
Yes, sir.
Our fire marshal, y'all remember when, Lonnie, the old maintenance guy, traded the Suburban, the fire marshal?
Yes.
He was supposed to brought that pickup back. That's been what, 2 months ago, probably? Yeah. The truck's still sitting in his house, so I called him. I told him to get that truck to the maintenance department. He said he hadn't had time to clean it out. I said, well, I advise it's only been 2 months, but.
With you 100%.
He's still right, he's going to pick it up.
So what you doing with this credit card?
We still didn't.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye on reports. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's what I asked earlier. Did the constables get good?
Item number, this closed executive session, discussion item, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551, 071, 072, 0725, 074, 076 to discuss pending or contemplated litigation. We are going to court on land suit.
Ooh, that was close.
So we'll talk, I'll give you all an update on that. Deliberations regarding real property, contract being negotiated, I'm not sure that we have any of that. And personnel matters, I'll update you on a little bit of personnel. Deliberations regarding security devices such as security cameras. We're going to talk about that most likely. And the time is
It's 1:34.
It's 1:34 and the court has adjourned executive session. We talked about various items under security. We have been bouncing around the radio situation, whether or not to, we've had them numerous times. They've had problems with radio communication, and we've had bids get presented, it's on the HGAG, which is like buy board, but it's HGAG, or mobile radios and portable radios. So under item number 15, I was thinking we might just put this on another day, but somebody smarter than me suggested we go under 15. Adjourn executive session, reconvene in regular session for consideration, discussion, possible vote on items discussed in executive session.
Now, we discussed the radio communication stuff, and I'm gonna make a motion to go out to Daly and Wells Communication to purchase off of 2 quotations. One is for 60 radios at $251,538, and the other one is to buy 20 radios for $57,068. They're HGAG buy boards, so we don't have to go out for bid.
They're L3 Harris dual band radios that are all compatible with the TexWarn system.
The first group is handhelds, and the last group is for car-mounted units, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Okay. Dang, Mr. Dieter's not here to hear that.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, a second by Commissioner McNally to buy 60 handheld L3 dual band TexWarn compatible radios. Those are handhelds, and 20 portable radios on the other quote for the cars.
Yeah, and this is using Senate Bill 22 funds.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not general fund?
No, sir.
He's already
Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous, 5-0. And that, for the record, it was $251,000, $538 for the handhelds, 60 of them, and $57,068.80 for the 20 car radios.
I'll make the next motion.
Do you have an extra copy of those quotes?
57.
Because I need a copy also.
I can scan it.
Thank you.
I can give you a copy. I wrote on some of mine, but yeah, I can get. I'll give you sure. Oh yeah, yeah. You'll put up, send us a request. That'll work.
I'll get that done.
Yeah, I got them electronically, but I can see. I wrote I wrote REQ on those 3 features because those are things that have to be on the radio. There's radios that don't have those features, but they aren't TexWarn compatible. But yeah,
And that'll leave us enough money in that account to get them installed.
Yes, sir. I think it will. Did I have any other motions at this time?
Adjourn.
Second, all in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.